The Revolutionary Guard are complete nutbags. I mean, there's no getting around that. We're about 2 minutes away from the radio show beginning, so if you're on hold, hang in there. And I'll do a little bit of a recap before I move on to other things. But the question on the table is, how far should we go? Should we use tactical nuclear weapons to destroy and radiate the areas where they launch drone, rockets, and boat attacks along the coastline? That's number one. Number two, should we use conventional weapons and take out the power plants to these major cities? I mean, these are big cities. You start knocking out the power plants, they're going to have a big problem over there that they got to take care of, which, a lot of what you do in a war is you're about 90 seconds away from the radio show to begin. One of the things you're doing is forcing the country you're at war with to use resources to do other things other than fight a war, right? And, like in the Second World War, prisoners of war that the Germans were holding, they were ordered, if they ever were captured, to resist as much as possible, to require the Germans to have as much manpower as possible to guard them, because that's manpower they couldn't use in the fighting, right? So this is a similar thing. All right, we're 1 minute away. So from the radio show beginning. So when the radio show begins, I'll go through this before I get into some other topics. But a lot has happened, and one of the things I'm going to cover today is this lie that they're starving on the USS Abraham Lincoln. I mean, this still continues. I mean, I can't believe this hasn't been debunked yet. It's disgusting. So we got about 30 seconds, and I'll cover all of that. If you're new, welcome to the stream. Make sure that you subscribe, and remember, all opinions are welcome on the program. So if you'd like to call in, the number's toll-free. It's pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are located. All right, here we go. Welcome to the program, everyone. I cannot believe it is Monday already. My name is Brian Craig. This is Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. Marjorie Trader Green posted something yesterday, and I wanted to talk about this and get your opinions on it. Marjorie Trader Green posted this to X yesterday. They are discussing using nuclear weapons on Iran in strategy meetings. And she means the Trump administration. Yes, you read that correctly. It's real. I'm not speculating. I know, Marjorie Trader Green says, and it's pure evil. The last time a nuclear weapon was used was August 6th and 9th of 1945 on two cities in Japan, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, immediately killing 110,000 people, vaporizing people at ground zero. In total, deaths reached 214,000 by the end of the year from severe burns and trauma. That's Marjorie Trader Green's text. So, I want to talk about this a bit. Do you believe, yes or no, should President Trump use tactical nuclear weapons against Iran? A lot of people like Marjorie Trader Green here want you to believe that it was somehow evil to drop nuclear weapons on Japan at the end of the Second World War. And Japan was very much like Iran is today. They were literally, look at the death march, right, in the Philippines. The Japanese were literally cutting heads off with swords, right, of American soldiers that they had captured, right? They had conquered huge areas of the Pacific. They were doing terrible things. I mean, they were religious nutcases. And now they didn't worship Muhammad. They had another deity, the Emperor of Japan. But the evil of the Japanese was equal to that of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard. I mean, they were really evil, cutting people's heads off, torturing people, starving people to death. What they did in China, I don't even want to detail, but I was talking about this in the pre-show. this a little bit ago. When, in one of my classes in college, we had a book we were required to read, which I do not recommend this book because it's so horrific, called The Rape of Nanjing. And you read that book, you'll never watch a Pokemon cartoon the same way again. I mean, it's crazy. They were evil as evil can be, equal to the evil of the Iranians, who have done so much evil in the last 49 years since the Islamic Revolution took over in 1979. And for all of these people that are critical, like Marjorie Trader Greene here, of the United States dropping 2 nuclear bombs on Japan in 1945, since we did that, they haven't been a problem. Japan, they didn't surrender after the first one. We had to drop 2, right? We dropped 2, and that was it. They surrendered. They were religious fanatics like the Iranians, doing evil equivalent to the Iranians. And since we dropped that second bomb, not only did they surrender, there was no resistance in Japan while we were there. Now they're a peaceful, happy people and give us just a lot of entertainment, right? Japanese anime, Pokemon cards, Attack on Titan, one of my favorites, right? Space Battleship Yamato. I like Japanese anime. I do. Right? They give us good things. And the reason they do, and the reason they're a peaceful, happy people, is because we dropped 2 nuclear bombs on Japan in 1945. Now, I'm not talking about nuking all of Iran here. Don't misunderstand me. But taking out the areas along the Persian Gulf where they launch rockets and speedboat attacks to harass shipping and cause problems, the reason I would say nuke it, I mean, we could destroy those things with conventional weapons. There's no doubt about it. But if you radiate them, they wouldn't be able to go back in and set up again, right? If you do it with conventional weapons, they can go in and rebuild and set things up. But if they're radiated, they cannot. So that's the only way I would only consider it. So I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. Should the president use tactical nuclear weapons in that area of Iran or not? Your calls certainly are welcome. All opinions are welcome at 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are listening. Now, I have a lot to cover today, and we're going to go through a lot of issues on today's program because there's been an amazing amount of news that has broken over the past couple of days, okay? This has been one big weekend, no question about it, and of news. One of the things that I'm just fed up with is this nonstop lie that they're starving on the USS Abraham Lincoln. The media, you know, the thing is with the traitor media that we have out there, and make no mistake about it, the mainstream media are traitors. Even when presented with facts, they'll still go with their false narrative. You know, I give you a great example. This J6 Defense Fund, right? The weaponization of government fund, the 1776 fund. President Trump said it's over. It's not going to happen. But then you see Todd Blanche on the Sunday shows, that's all they ask about. Even the president in press conferences, pretty much every day, there's at least one, sometimes more, but at least one reporter in the White House press corps every day will ask President Trump about this 1776 defense fund against the weaponization of government. No matter how many times Todd Blanche and the president say it's over, it's not happening, we're not doing it, they still ask because they want to get the narrative going. And this story, and I'm going to play something for you in a little bit, this story about the USS Abraham Lincoln and the lack of food has been debunked by CNN themselves just a couple of weeks ago, and I'll share that with you. But even though CNN has debunked this thing, they're still going with the lie. So I'm going to cover all of this on the program today. We got a busy day of news, and those are only a couple of things we're going to discuss. But, you look at this story with the Abraham Lincoln. The press, it's not, we say Trump derangement syndrome, and there's certainly a lot of that involved in this, okay? I mean, there's Trump derangement syndrome in the press. But the media have always been against the United States, okay? The media have always been against the United States and war since the war in Vietnam. And in Vietnam, what they did in Vietnam was a little different. In Vietnam, they showed the body bags on TV from time to time. So people back home on the nightly news would see the body bags to try to turn them against the war. And, back then, the nightly network news was watched by a lot of people. It was a big deal. To be on the nightly news was to show it to tens of millions of people instantly across the country. And the media is what caused us to, because the pressure they were putting on, the media is the reason why we withdrew from Vietnam and didn't save South Vietnam and left them to the communists. That's a fact. That's just the way it is, okay? And the media, they're always going back for the glory days of when they had power and juice and influence and could get things done. And they're going to continue to talk about things, whether they're true or not, especially the untrue ones, because they want to drive public opinion against the United States. They want to drive public opinion against President Trump, and that is what they do. One of our listeners that watches online was telling me in the live chat this morning, they're over on the Gulf Coast, the Gulf of America coast, and they were telling me that they need a new roof. And of course, I told them, if you need a new roof or roof repair, you want to call Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing. Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing covers both the east and west coast of Florida, from the Atlantic coast to the Gulf of America coast and everywhere in between. So those of you over on the west coast, if you need roof replacement or repair, call Tom Laporta on his cell phone. I'm going to give you the number in just a moment, and he will help you. Think about it. Think about it. You're dealing with a major roofing company, and you have the cell phone number of the owner before, during, and after the work is done. That's unheard of. That's absolutely amazing. And that just shows you that Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting, he cares about you, your roof, and the quality of work. He can handle the job of any size, whether it's one single family home, one office building, one municipal building, or an HOA that has over 450 units. He can help you with that. He works with every type of roofing material there is as well. Give Tom Laporta a call or a text. Again, this number rings directly to his cell phone, 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. That's 954-604-4602. And online, LaportaRoofing.com. All right, we'll take our first break of the new week and be right back. All right, we're in radio break, guys. Okay, if you'd like to call in, the number is pinned in the live chat. I was looking for something in particular. I do all my show prep. And I've done this for many years. All the articles and everything that I'm going to talk about, I post to X, and they're in my X feed. And X recently changed how they do everything. And instead of having everything in one feed, they've separated it: post, replies, and repost. And so instead of having everything in one single feed, there's 3 feeds now. And they've been putting this in for a while, but it finally just reached me on my update, and I have to work with that now. Okay, hold on, let me see here. I'm just hearing from Mike. He's telling me what time we're going to be back. Okay. Now I did want to talk during the break for a minute or two, because we've got a little bit of time. This is just a really sad story of Hayden Panettiere that passed away. And the thing with Hayden Panettiere is she's been through just a rough life. And I want to play some of this. Let me see if I have time. to get through this. This is an interview she did recently.
At 18, scientifically, her frontal lobes don't develop until we're, 26, 25, 26.
Okay, let me fast forward a little bit.
My perspective completely shifted, and I realized that I was in danger. But by the time I realized I was in danger, I was quite literally out to sea.
Oh, I went too far. Hold on.
Capable of being fully aware of what was going on around me, and it wasn't until I found myself in predicaments that I realized, my perspective completely shifted, and I realized that I was in danger. But by the time I realized I was in danger, I was quite literally out to sea. And it was that moment shook me, was shocking, and I was quite literally walked down, and I had been having a great time. There was no hints of anything like that happening, so it took me, I was shocked. It took me by surprise. And it was led by somebody that I had grown to trust and see as a protector, and somebody who had my back, and to be walked down, down the stairs, and it was as like a surprise, presented as though it was like a surprise, and it was this very small room, and she physically put me in the bed next to this undressed man who was very famous, and had his hands like this.
Okay, I don't have enough time. I'll play the rest of it after the bottom of the hour, okay? We'll be right back. All right, we're back. I'm Brian. It's Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Just unrelated, I wanted to play this for you guys. Hayden Panettiere had died, 36 years old. She was on Heroes, and she has really had a very rough life, Hayden Panettiere. I mean, there's just no getting around it. And she had a book out, and she's been doing interviews about this book, and I wanted to play this clip of her. She's talking about this instance on the yacht. This was a recent interview. Oh, I'm having a hard time playing it now. I was just playing it during the break. Well, maybe I'll get to it in a little bit because it's not working too well now. But we'll get back to it. But Hayden Panettiere, when I play this clip for you, she is just a poor young girl out of Hollywood, which is filled with the scummiest people alive in Hollywood. And you know what? It's always been that way in Hollywood. Hollywood has always been a place where scummy people go. And let me... Okay, here it is. Let me rewind it. And here's Hayden Panettiere. And this is a very recent interview she did promoting her book. She just died at the age of 36.
No hints of anything like that happening. So it took me, I was shocked. It took me by surprise. And it was led by somebody that I had grown to trust and see as a protector, and somebody who had my back, and to be walked down, down the stairs, and it was as like a surprise, presented as though it was like a surprise, and it was this very small room, and she physically put me in the bed next to this undressed man who was very famous, and had his hands like this, like this was just, an average day for him. This is something that happens all the time. And I waited for her to leave, and I mean that lion in me, that fire in me, that my hair stood on end, and I became ferocious. I was like, this is not happening. But I had nowhere to hide, and I bolted, and I hid wherever I could think of.
Yeah, so she tells this story, and this was a very recent interview. She tells this story where this woman let her down on this yacht she was partying on with a very famous man, very famous. She didn't say his name, and he just was there in bed waiting to have sex with her, and how she got away from it. And Hayden Panettiere, I mean, she's had a tragic life, and she died over the weekend, age of 36. And she was brought into this world that has the scummiest people in America in it. It's called Hollywood. And she had a big hit with the first season of Heroes. And I know she did some other things then, but that first season of Heroes was a big, big show. If you guys remember that first season, everybody was talking about Heroes. It was pretty amazing and a big deal at the time, you know. And after that, it's just been down the tubes of addiction and Hollywood and treating women like prostitutes like this. And you look, these are the people out in Hollywood that are responsible for the death of Hayden Panettiere. You hear these terrible stories. These are the people in the left out in Hollywood that are passing judgment on Republicans, on President Trump all of the time. I don't think so. You know, these people out in Hollywood are the lowest of the low. And, you know, very rarely do you hear people tell true stories like Hayden Panettiere told. And she told this story recently on this book tour, and then she winds up dead. It's really a scary thing. But next time you hear someone in Hollywood pass any moral judgment on Republicans, on the MAGA movement, or the greatest president we've ever had, Donald Trump, you think about Hayden Panettiere and what they did to her, and how at the age of 36, she's got an 11-year-old daughter, she's dead. And the cause of death, we don't know the specifics. Whatever the cause of death of Hayden Panettiere are officially, it's the scumbags in Hollywood that are responsible for it. And they're passing judgment on us through their film, televisions, interviews. They post things on social media saying terrible things about President Trump. That's the culture they live in. You know, and because they live in that scummy world of Hollywood, they just assume that's how everyone is, and it's not. Now, tomorrow is the big day in Florida. Okay, it's primary day, and I voted early last week. I voted early on the last day of early voting, and there's a lot of things on the ballot, but there's two things in particular. Now, for the Republicans, there's one big thing that we got to talk about. The most important, and you've got to get out and vote. Everything's important, right? Every race is important, no doubt about it. But the most important is the Byron Donalds race for governor. And we got a new poll, and the odds here of Fishback, who I've been calling Fish Sticks. Hopefully I won't be talking about Fish Sticks anymore after tomorrow night. But the latest odds, Byron Donalds versus Fish Sticks. Byron Donalds has a 98% chance of winning the Florida Republican primary for governor. And Fish Sticks has a 1% chance. And in the most recent polls, Byron Donalds is about 36 points ahead of the number 2, who's the lieutenant governor. This is very, very important, and we have strong momentum. You know, the early voting, the Republican turnout in the early voting was massive, okay? Early voting includes both mail-in and in-person early voting. It's the same count. And we had tens of thousands of more Republicans turned out to vote than Democrats. And that's the first time that's happened. The entire Democrat operation in all their elections is all wrapped around the early vote and mail-in votes. We know this, right? So when we're outperforming them by tens of thousands here in Florida in an off-year election, and that's the first time that's ever happened, it's always the Democrats outnumbering us in the early and mail-in voting. That shows we have momentum. And the polls show Byron Donalds winning. And I know a lot of people, you know, may tell themselves that have not already voted tomorrow, well, the polls, he's got it, I don't need to bother. You really do, okay? It's important to have mass turnout in this primary tomorrow. And part of the reason is it will give us that extra momentum that we need moving into the November elections, okay? Because what the story is now is not that Byron Donalds won. He will win. But what the story will be the day after is how many more Republicans the Democrats voted in Florida, and we're going to make history here. And that and those numbers swamping the Democrats in the Florida primary will give us momentum that will spread in other races around the country for November. We will win in November. We will gain seats in the House of Representatives, hopefully the Senate too, but definitely in the House. We're going to maintain control of the Senate. We're just going to have to switch around who the leader is, because Thune's a Democrat, let's face it. But we're going to go in, we want to go in with momentum on our side, and a mass turnout does that. So it's very important. Now, Ashley Moody, she's the senator. She's finishing out Marco Rubio's term, and it's also important for her she's going to win the Republican primary, Ashley Moody, but we want that big number turnout showing how many more Republicans turned out as opposed to Democrats. It's very defeatist for them, and it will help us so much in November. So don't get the idea in your mind tomorrow on primary day, well, you know, Byron Donalds and Ashley Moody, they got this locked up, and, you know, it's hot. It's going to be over 100 degrees heat index tomorrow, and I just don't want to go. Do it. It's important. The swamping them in the primary is so important. It'll have a devastating impact on their morale. All right. Okay. If you're on hold, stand by. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. If you're on hold, stand by. If you'd like to call in, the number's toll free 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll take a quick break and be right back. Okay, guys, I'm going to take a quick break here, and I'll be back with you shortly.
Are you looking for a smarter way to care for your skin and your hair? You can do just that with Valaya AI. Valaya AI is your personal AI wellness coach. With just a quick scan from your phone, Valaya AI analyzes your skin and hair in seconds, providing personalized recommendations for acne, hydration, wrinkles, pigmentation, dryness, hair health, and that's just the beginning. Using advanced artificial intelligence, Valaya AI creates customized morning and evening routines, recommends products tailored to your needs, and even adjusts your care based on the weather, the index, and seasonal conditions. What are you waiting for? Download Valaya AI right now in the Apple App Store and Google Play Store and discover a smarter, more personalized approach to skin and hair care. Learn more and see how Valaya works online at mindhatch.ca. That's mindhatch.ca. Valaya AI, healthy skin and hair, powered by artificial intelligence.
All right, we're still in radio break, so if you're on hold, hang in there. This is absolutely amazing. Listen to this. This is Governor Whitmer with New Scum.
Point of the second term, I didn't know what to expect, to be honest. I watched, I still, I'm like, you work so hard, we all work really hard for this together. And I woke up the next day thinking, my state voted and I got to figure out how to conduct myself here. You know, I tuned out for about a month.
Yeah.
I had to turn off all the social media.
Oh my gosh, right.
I watched 8 episodes of Dexter, or 8 seasons of Dexter,
You like that?
to cheer myself up.
I was going to get cheered up by Dexter.
And then I came out of it and thought, you know, I took notes to the people of Michigan. I got 2 years left, and I got work to do. So
Yeah, open hand.
wrote him a
close
note
fist.
after his inauguration. Watched his inauguration.
You wrote him a note.
This is amazing.
Did he respond to it?
He did. He called me. I put my number in, and I said,
Wow.
because in his speech, something about. I thought, all right, there's my plug. Congratulations. You won the election. I know that you talk about auto workers. That's something you want to work on. You know, I'd love to work with you. I want to help you straight. Here's my number. He called me.
Good
He
conversation.
called me number times.
And you visited the White House 2
I
times.
did. Well, I've gotten some really good stuff done. Honestly,
And
I
he
had
delivered for you
a
guys.
fire mission
Right.
at SFjr National Guard Base, and I tried to get that done under the Biden administration
And they
and get
didn't
it over the
couldn't
finish
move.
line.
Yeah.
But I got it done with him, so that's a huge deal for Michigan.
Yeah.
So even though I don't like it, I know how to work with people I'm not, best friends with,
I get it.
to put it lightly.
Wow. So she couldn't get Biden to deliver for Michigan, but Trump did. Isn't that something? That's absolutely. So here we have Gretchen Whitmer praising and really endorsing President Trump and his team. That's amazing, isn't it? All right, we'll be back in 15 seconds. I'll go to the phones. If you'd like to call in, the number's toll free and pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are listening. All right, 5 seconds. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Come on, Brian. Doc from Texas.
Oh, hey,
How are
Doc.
you this morning?
I'm doing very well. We're about to sweep the primaries tomorrow. It's going to be a great day.
Good. Hey, do you really think Trump is going to nuke Iran?
It's certainly being discussed.
He can't be that crazy.
Well, when you say crazy, we have one example of when nuking in a war situation against a fanatical religious power worked, and it's Japan, right? We dropped 2 nuclear bombs on Japan, and they've been nothing but our friends ever since.
He can't be that crazy.
Well, no, hold on a second. But you look at Japan, the only time nuclear weapons have been used is the United States on Japan. They surrendered unconditionally. There was no resistance or insurgency during and we're still occupying the country 80 years later. It worked with Japan, didn't it?
It won't be an Iran left, Brian.
Well, hold on a second. Dropping 2 nuclear bombs on Japan worked, right?
It did, but it's
It did.
different
Okay.
now.
Okay. Wait a minute. Okay. So dropping 2 nuclear bombs on Japan worked. You just said that. You agreed with me. First time you've agreed, I think, maybe ever, that dropping 2 nuclear bombs on Japan worked. Why would they not work on Iran, but they worked on Japan?
You are telling me the President of the United States of America, Donald Trump, is going to drop. That's the only reason we were in Iran because they had nuclear weapons. So they had nuclear weapons, and he's going to drop a bomb.
Well, you keep repeating the same thing over and over, but
Because it doesn't make sense.
it does. You told me that dropping 2 nuclear bombs on Japan worked. You just told me that. So why would it not work with Iran?
Are you serious? Are you serious? Are you really are agreeing with Trump?
Since we dropped nuclear bombs on Japan, they haven't attacked anyone. They didn't resist us when we moved in after the surrender. They haven't made any moves of aggression towards their neighbors. They were a religious, fanatical, terrorist empire like Iran before we dropped those bombs.
So why are we dropping a bomb on Iran? I thought we had defeated Iran already. Obviously, we haven't.
Well, they're a bit of a nuisance right now.
So you are telling me we defeated Iran. Now we're going to drop a nuclear bomb?
No. What I'm telling you is, see, you don't want to deal with it, is dropping nuclear bombs on Japan. They were just like Iran. They were religious fanatics. Their deity was the emperor. They were committing terrorism, great barbarity.
We defeated them. You say we defeated them already.
Well, we defeated Japan before we dropped the bombs too, but we didn't. Yeah, we did. We defeated their navy, their air force. It was all gone, but we didn't want to have to deal with a multi-year insurgency on the island of Japan, so we dropped the 2 nukes.
God have mercy on us. God have mercy on us. We do this.
You told me that dropping the nukes on Japan worked.
God have mercy on us. All I'm going to say, God have mercy on us.
For what?
If we do that, if we do this, we are going to destroy this country, this world.
Why? Why would it destroy the world?
Because it's going to destroy the world.
How so?
What's going to happen?
What would happen?
Because nobody's going to trust us anymore, Brian.
Why wouldn't they?
Because they were thinking we got I'm stopping, man, I cuss. We got an idiot in the White House that's going to do this, that doesn't have to do this.
Uh-huh.
He said he defeated Iran.
Well, we defeated Japan before we dropped the bombs, too.
So you agree with Trump dropping a nuclear bomb, a good bomb on Japan?
If he decided to use tactical nuclear weapons to stop their harassment in the Strait of Hormuz and in the Persian Gulf, yes.
All I'm gonna say is the good Lord is not pleased with us right now. He's not pleased with us right now.
Mm-hmm. You think he's pleased with Iran?
No, he's not pleased with none of us. None. Because the good Lord started saying, "What the world are y'all doing?
Mm-hmm.
What?" All I'm gonna say is, I'm just amazed that you even think that's gonna be a good idea. I'm amazed.
Well, see, one of the reasons that Iran has continued on the way they do is because they feel that they don't mind being obliterated, because as long as the revolution continues, okay, the Islamic revolution. So what we've got to do is defeat their revolution. So what do we got to do that? What about blowing up their power plants with conventional weapons? Would that be okay?
No, because we hurting children.
No, I'm not saying bomb the cities. I'm talking about just the power plants. There are not children at the power plants.
The power plants. You think the power plants not going to hurt the children? You know what, Ryan? I can't. You amazes me every morning that I really don't understand your thought.
Well, we want to stop the war. We want to end the war, and that happens with victory.
I thought to say we defeated Iran already.
We've defeated them, but they're still a nuisance and harassing people.
So we haven't defeated them.
No, we've defeated them. You can defeat them.
No, they can't.
Sure, you can defeat them and still them be a nuisance. What's going on? What you have going on is kind of like an insurgency. They become a pirate nation. They're like, I told you this last week, they're like the Somali pirates now. But they used to hijack cargo ships.
Oh, Jesus, man. Okay, I'm really amazed. But
At
if
what?
we do it. If we do it, and that's the same that we gonna let this president, that's an idiot, destroy us. Oh, well.
Okay, all right. Well, he's a little confused. The thing about Iran and the United States, it's what I just told Doc, right? The Iranians feel very confident that they can weather any storm, that the United States and the rest of the world don't have the guts to truly stop them and fight them. And they feel that if their Islamic revolution continues and they're still in power in some way, shape, or form, they're okay with that. So what we've got to do is what we got to do to stop them harassing ships in the Strait of Hormuz. Now, the southern strait is completely open, and ships are traveling through the southern Strait of Hormuz all day, all night without any problems. And this has been for quite some time now. This is not new. I know they want to say the strait's closed, but ships are going in and out of the southern strait all the time. But we've got to amp up something if you want to stop Iran. Whether it's taking out their power plants, their water treatment plants, obliterating the area where they launch rockets and boats into the Persian Gulf to harass the shipping. Whatever we have to do to stop them is what's got to be done. I'm sorry to tell you. All right, let's take some more calls. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Sorry, let me put down the volume.
Okay. Yeah, turn down the volume of whatever device you're listening to me on.
Yes, sir. This is Blind Colonizer from Fort Lauderdale.
Yes.
Yes. Sir, I'm a student of history and like you and theology. You're not into, but of history. In World War II, if you look at what the terrorists or the suicide bombers and you remember the kamikazes that the Japanese were doing because they were loyal to the emperor. It's the same thing. There were suicide missions rather than
Yes.
quit. Rather than quit, they rather take their lives
Correct.
just to kill 5 or 10.
Yeah.
That's why America dropped atomic bombs, because if they hadn't, the war would still be going on till this day. But the casualties were by far on Japan's side.
Yeah.
See, what you have to understand is you can't just drop a bomb. What if somebody dropped a bomb? Hiroshima and Nagasaki were like New York and Miami.
Yeah, they were.
How would you feel? These were innocent men, women, and children. Men going to work, women dropping their kids off to school, in the morning, and not knowing what was going to hit them. And they dropped them. That's why America is still paying reparations to them. How could you support something?
We're not
like
paying
that?
reparations. No, excuse me.
war.
We are not paying reparations to Japan. Well, I don't know. Where,
Japan is getting.
no, we do not give them reparations. That is not true. I don't know where you got that from.
Okay, but you support the fact of dropping nuclear weapons.
Well, what you told
innocent
me,
civilians.
what you told me was interesting. Okay, what you told me is what Doc said. You told me that dropping nuclear bombs on Japan worked, stopped the war. You said we'd still be fighting if we didn't do that, right? That's what you just told me. So why, if it worked with Japan, you told me that. So why would it not work with Iran?
It's a war crime. You can't just drop bombs on civilians.
I didn't. Who said anything about civilians? Who said anything about civilians?
You just saw nuke. I just heard you talk about nuking them.
We have tactical nuclear weapons.
Oh, so it's not going to be like Hiroshima and Nagasaki?
I'm not talking about dropping a bomb on Tehran. No.
Well, I don't know when you hit
the tactical nukes, they're very small. What it would do is destroy and radiate the area where they're launching rockets, drones, and speedboats into the Gulf and Strait of Hormuz.
Okay, but anytime you use those types of weapons, I think you're on the verge of starting World War III.
With who?
With
who?
World War III, because their allies, other people in the Mideast, China, North Korea, stuff like China, Russia.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be pissed. They're going to come to their aid.
But aren't they already angry at us and hating on us?
Yeah, but if you start dropping
Who's
nukes, we're going to start dropping tactical nukes. It's going to take us elevated to a whole nother level. You can't tell me
what's more. See, this is what. See, you guys, the panic. From you liberal callers, you and Doc, I hear the panic. See, it's not so much dropping the nuclear weapons; it's whether or not Iran would believe that we would.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Well,
it's not about actually doing it.
Necessary.
It's about making the Iranians think that we might do it.
Oh, it's like a fear-mongering thing?
Well,
like we might do it or something?
Well, see, the Iranians have gotten by the last 50 years because they don't think anybody will stand up to them. So you have to stand up to them. That's what we're doing now. We've defeated the country. They're not what they were. Right? They're a shell of their former self militarily. But they're still continuing the harassment. So you have to convince them that we're willing to go further.
Yeah, I mean, they stopped supporting Hezbollah and Hamas. They were the number one funders of Hezbollah and Hamas.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly right.
How come, lastly, I'll leave you with this. How come Trump, when he was calling Kim Jong-un of North Korea little rocket man and telling him, you may have a red button, but I have a bigger button than you.
Mine works. He says mine works. No, he said mine works. He said.
Okay. Yeah, he called him little rocket man.
Well, that right there, when Trump told Kim Jong-un that my button works, That was the button to launch nuclear weapons he was talking about.
Yeah. But then he backed off because it was a fear-mongering thing.
No,
like
North Korea stopped. North Korea stopped. He was afraid of Trump, of what Trump might do.
So this is basically the same tactic they're using with the Chinese, with the Persians, with the Iranians, just trying to make them think that they may do it, and then hopefully they'll back off.
Correct.
Oh, I see. Thank you, sir.
All right, take care. See what into that now? He can see. You know, Doc, he can't see. All right, listen, we'll take our last break of the first hour, come back with more of your calls and more things to discuss, too. We'll be right back. All right, guys, we're in a radio break. I'm going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
What if you could understand the Bible as one complete story? From creation to Jesus to the fulfillment of end times prophecy. Now you can with engaging, eye-opening Bible study live streams where scripture comes together in a clear, easy-to-follow way that will deepen your understanding of God's Word. Discover how the events unfolding in today's world fit into the bigger picture God revealed throughout the Bible. Explore biblical prophecy and what it says about the future. Compare God's truth with Satan's deception. Examine the evidence for creation versus evolution and gain fresh insight into the people, places, and promises found throughout Scripture. Whether you're new to Bible study or have been reading the Bible your entire life, these live streams will help you connect the dots, strengthen your faith, and better understand the times we're living in. Don't miss this opportunity to grow in your knowledge of God's Word. Join these life-changing Bible study live streams right now. Find the link in the description of this episode. Share the link on all your social media so your friends can join in too. Again, the link is in the description of this episode. Look in the description and click it right now.
Yeah, guys, that Bible study, the link is in the description. Please check it out. It's a very good Bible study. They live stream a couple times a week. But if you missed the live stream, that's okay. The videos are archived up there. So the link to the Bible study, it says Bible study, and then the link is right there. See now, the blind man, he got it. It's not about dropping them. It's about them not sure and thinking that Trump might. All right, we've got just over a minute till we'll be back. If you're on hold, stand by. The number's toll-free, 888-465-2631. Hang in there. I put a poll in the live chat there. Should Trump use nukes in Iran? Right now, it's 61% say no. So vote in that poll, guys. All right. Okay, we've got about 40 seconds and we'll be back. Hang in there. Yep, the number is pinned in the live chat. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. Toll-free call. All right. 20 seconds. Stand by. 12 seconds. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Jeffrey, and I'm calling from Kentucky.
Oh, hey, Jeffrey in Kentucky. Have you seen Mitch McConnell around lately? We can't find him.
Mitch McConnell is he's definitely an agent for Israel, and he's definitely.
Oh, really? I thought I thought he was an agent for China, since his wife is from China, Elaine Chao.
Oh, his wife is from China. What do you have against the Chinese?
Not the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party. They're trying to destroy the United States. In fact, their stated goal is that.
How are the Chinese trying to destroy the United States?
Oh, many ways. One of them is absolutely, yeah. They started TikTok, right? And they started this. The CCP started. This is only one. The CCP started TikTok. and made something that's very destructive to this country. They made transgenderism a fad among the young people of childbearing years, and they've reduced the American birth rate so low that it's only slightly above the death rate. So they're reducing the U.S. population just through what they did with TikTok.
So, Brian, you're telling me that China is the reason why Gen Z is trans?
Yes.
So you're telling me basically China is making our kids gay?
No. What they did was I can explain.
Brian, look, that's weird, and you need to cut it out with the propaganda. I voted for Trump in 2024. I heavily regret my vote.
Oh, okay.
He has been a horrible president.
Really?
It's been very, very bad.
Why'd you vote for him? Why'd you vote for him?
I voted for him because I believed him.
No, specifically, what issue? No, excuse me. What issue? Excuse me. No, excuse me. What issues did you vote? You said you voted for him in 2024. What issues did you vote for him for?
Immigration.
He did it. Mission accomplished. What else?
He has deported less people than the Democrats.
No, he shut down the border. He shut down the border, and millions have been deported.
How many people have Trump deported?
Millions. Millions.
No.
And there hasn't been an illegal crossing for over a year. Okay, so what's the next reason? No, we're not going to go through every issue. You said you voted for him. That's one. What's another reason you voted for him? What's another reason you voted for him? What's another reason you voted for him? The southern border, he took care of that.
Wait. Let's talk about the immigration.
No, we're not going to talk about it anymore. We don't have time. Listen, I don't have time. I don't have time for a long discussion. Excuse me. That's not true. That's not true.
Okay, then what are the numbers, sir?
That's not true.
I'm pretty sure.
Millions.
I'm pretty sure.
What Obama did, what Obama did was this. When he
I'm talking about Biden.
He was the Democrat. Biden let 25 million in. Biden let 25 million in. That's why you voted for Trump.
What proof do you have that 25 million immigrants crossed the border?
Illegals? Because Donald Trump says so.
I'm pretty sure it's only 10 million.
Donald Trump says so.
Sure it's only 10 million.
Well, if it's not a problem, why'd you vote for him in 2024?
I'm pretty sure it's only 10 million.
If Biden wasn't bringing in so many illegals, why'd you voted for him?
Where are you getting 25 million illegals?
President Trump?
Where are you getting that statistic?
President Trump said so.
He said so, but what do the statistics from the immigration?
President Trump has access to everything. He said Biden brought in 25 million illegals.
Yeah, he said that. He's lying.
But
I voted for Trump. I voted for Trump, but I'm not an idiot.
okay, are you sure about that? Okay, so the first issue you said was on the border. He shut down the border.
You're not doing it.
What other issues? Excuse me, you're on hold. You said you voted for Trump in 2024. The first one you said was the border. He shut down the border. What other issues did you vote for him for? You've said you voted for him. Why?
Bro, I voted for him because he said there was going to be no more stupid coastal wars in the Middle East, sir.
He has not started a new war. He has not started. He promise made, promise kept.
I got the rally spirit when he said that.
Hold on, slow down. President Trump did not start any new wars in the Middle East.
He didn't start any new. So he didn't start the Iran conflict.
No, that started when Jimmy Carter was president in 1979.
Okay, sir, how many U.S. people since 1979 has Iran deleted?
Thousands. They were behind
Where are you getting?
They were. Where am I getting this? Okay. In the Iraq War, the Iranians were backing the Iraqi insurgency. They were funding and arming them. So every American who was killed or wounded in Iraq, that was done by Iran.
And why was Iran funding Afghanistan and Iraq?
I don't know about Afghanistan. I'm talking about Iraq. President Trump did not start a new war. But hold on. No, we're not. No. You said you voted for him. It doesn't sound like you did, right? But you said you voted for him because of the border. He took care of that. He said no new wars. He has not started a new war.
Funding Iraq
Why? To screw us over.
Because the United States invaded Iraq off of the premise of weapons of mass destruction that Iraq did not have, sir.
Okay, but Trump wasn't president then. Trump didn't do that. That doesn't mean it was right. That doesn't mean it was okay for the Iranians to kill Americans. You think it hold on a second. Are you telling me that you think it was okay that Iraqis that Iranians were killing Americans in Iraq? You think that was okay because we invaded?
We were in their country for weapons.
It wasn't Iran. We were in Iraq, not Iran. So you're saying it was okay for them to kill Americans in Iraq?
We should have never been in Iraq.
Well, but we were there. Well, we were there.
Bro, that's like me going to the bar and getting into a fight.
Why don't you just admit you're a Democrat? Why don't you just admit you're a Democrat? Bro, why don't you just admit you're a Democrat? Why don't you just admit you're a Democrat?
Bro, I am a Republican and I am flabbergasted.
What makes you a Republican? What makes you a Republican? What makes you a Republican?
It's not about Republican.
Excuse me. What makes you a Republican?
That is what makes America.
What makes you a Republican?
Who cares about Republicans? Who cares if you're a Republican?
You said you're a Republican. You sound like a Democrat.
It's always about what's best for America. And you're going to sit here and tell me that we've been at war with Iran since
79. Yes.
The premise of weapons of mass destruction that they didn't have. We were wrong.
But that doesn't. Hold on a second here. Whether or not we should have been there. Hold on a second. Whether I agree with you, Bush lied about weapons. Excuse me for speaking while you're interrupting. I've given you a lot of leeway here. Just because George Bush lied about weapons of mass destruction in Iraq doesn't mean it was okay for Iran to kill Americans there.
Well, we should have never been in Iraq in the first place, bro. Are you not following the logic?
No, I am. You're an American-hating liberal. You're an American-hating liberal.
In the first place, that means that Iran was totally correct in funding.
You are. Why do you not admit you're a Democrat?
Brother, I am a Republican, and I'm telling you the problems in the Republican Party. Are you a Zionist?
Are you asking me if I'm a Jew? What is this, Munich 1933?
No, being a Zionist and being Jewish is two completely different things.
Okay, so you hate America, you hate America, you hate Jews.
Don't start with that, sir.
Okay, listen, I'm out of time. So I got to run.
Are you a Zionist?
I got to run. It's time for a commercial break. This has not been much of a conversation because you won't stop talking. Oh my goodness. He just asked, are you a Jew? Oh my goodness. If you're on hold, stand by. My name is Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. We've got 2 hours to go. Callers on hold, don't go anywhere. We'll take more of your calls after the break. The number is 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll take our break for the top of the hour and be back right after this. Now, guys, tell me in the chat, do you think that guy is a Republican? What do you think? Is he a Republican? What do you guys think? I'm going to go to the phones when we get back. Don't worry. Didn't sound like a Republican to me. What do you guys, yes or no? Was he a Republican? What do you think? Yes or no? No, I don't think so either. I don't think so either. Okay, what do I got to do this hour? I'm getting my commercial copy together for the next hour. Okay. Hang in there, guys. 4. If you're new to the program, welcome. Make sure you subscribe. And if everyone could do me a favor and like the video, I'd appreciate it. And if you've not already done it, take part in the poll question there, okay? I'm going to take a quick break, okay? We'll be right back.
What if you could understand the Bible is one complete story? From creation to Jesus to the fulfillment of end times prophecy. Now you can with engaging, eye-opening Bible study live streams where scripture comes together in a clear, easy-to-follow way that will deepen your understanding of God's Word. Discover how the events unfolding in today's world fit into the bigger picture God revealed throughout the Bible. Explore biblical prophecy and what it says about the future. Compare God's truth with Satan's deception. Examine the evidence for creation versus evolution and gain fresh insight into the people, places, and promises found throughout Scripture. Whether you're new to Bible study or reading the Bible your entire life, these live streams will help you connect the dots, strengthen your faith, and better understand the times we're living in. Don't miss this opportunity to grow in your knowledge of God's Word. Join these life-changing Bible study live streams right now. Find the link in the description of this episode. Share the link on all your social media so your friends can join in too. Again, the link is in the description of this episode. Look in the description and click it right now.
All right, guys. Yeah, do me the favor of checking out that Bible study. The link is in the description. You'll see it says Bible study, and then right next to it, you'll see that it says the link, and you can click it. They do live streams a couple times a week, but after the live streams, everything's archived. So you can watch it after, too, and it's a very good Bible study, so please check it out. Again, the link is in the description. If you're on hold, stand by. I'm going to go to the phones after the break. We're in radio station break right now, and the number's pinned in the live chat. We'll be back in 1 minute. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call, no matter where you are listening. 888-465-2631. All opinions are welcome. There's only one opening on the board, and not only are all opinions welcome, the calls are unscreened and unvetted. When you call in, no one answers the phone. I just put you on hold, and you sit on hold until I say, what's your name, where are you calling from? And that's when we know for the first time who's on hold. So the calls are unscreened, unvetted. All opinions are welcome. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. Okay, stand by. 15 seconds. Oh, every line is lit. A full board. I'll go right to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
What's up, man? It's Ronan Lee. How you doing, bro?
All right.
So, you heard about the USS Abraham Lincoln, man, and the missions on there. What do you feel about that? You feel that's
Well, what when you say the situation, you got to be more specific. What do you just ask me? What?
Well, they're reporting people, a few guys jumping off, getting cups of rice.
Yeah, that's not true. That's not true. One person. There's over 5,000 guys. One person fell overboard. Who was rescued, and he was, and not only, hold on a second. Now, one person fell overboard, and the person that fell overboard, he was rescued.
Okay, and then they said they had to have cups of rice and.
That's also not true. That's not true either.
So it's all bullshit.
Oh boy. Okay. First dump of the day. Mike. If you're on hold, stand by while we wait for the delay to re-engage. But to answer his question, yes, it's all that. You know, there's. It's really amazing to me. We have just a handful of rules, and one of them is no profanity, guys. You can't use profanity on the radio. So please do me the favor of not using profanity. And to back up my case that this is all BS, there's a photograph that's circulating of the food in the mess hall or the galley. I guess it's a galley on an aircraft carrier. There's been this photograph that's gone viral of the galley where the sailors are supposedly eating on the USS Abraham Lincoln. They have trays with very little food on it, and the bit of food you see doesn't look edible. Well, if you look at this, this is not on the aircraft carrier, all right? You look at this mess hall or whatever it is, the walls are of concrete blocks, okay? They don't build the walls and supports with concrete blocks on naval vessels, okay? It's too much weight. So this photograph that's been circulating, then they have one that's up close because they realized, uh-oh, that's not a real mess hall. So they zoomed in on one of the trays and they're presenting that. But this was, we're waiting for the delay to re-engage. So when the delay re-engages, I'll take more calls. But they don't make ships with galleys and mess halls out of concrete blocks, which this one is that they're showing all over the internet. So what you're seeing is not true. Not only is it not true, and I'm going to play later, CNN debunked the story themselves by visiting the aircraft carrier recently. So we'll get into all of that. All right, the delay is re-engaged. Let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Richard from Brooklyn.
Hey, Richard.
Just a quick question. You said that zero crossing, millions deported. So what's the point of the Save America Act? Why push it?
The Save America Act is not about the southern border.
No, but it's about accountability about Americans. So since your issue is
what? Tell me what the Save America. Tell me what the Save America Act is for. What it's?
I don't know. I'm not for
Oh, you
it.
don't know? What do you mean you're not for it? You told me you don't know what it is. How can you be against something you don't know what it is?
Well, I'm against it. But I don't want to get into details because you keep
No,
jumping
no,
around.
no. Wait a minute. You said okay. So photo ID to vote. It's two. The Save America Act is two things. Okay. One, you have to prove you are a U.S. citizen before you register to vote, and the requirement of government issued photo ID to vote. Like I had to show when I voted the other day here in Florida. I had to show my ID, and the ID in Florida.
That's your state. It's right.
Yeah, well, that's the Save America Act is so that we can have fair elections where only American citizens and living people are voting.
Correct.
Okay, so why are you against that? Why are you against that?
You want people to go through hoops and hurdles in order to obtain that by November?
What do they have to obtain by November? What do they have to obtain by November?
You keep saying I watch your show. You say you can get your ID and all that.
Who does not have ID? Who does not have ID? Everybody has ID.
Depending on the state of what is considered an American.
Who does not have an ID? Everybody has photo ID.
A lot of people have expired IDs.
Well,
Old people have expired IDs. Old people in nursing homes let it expire. A lot of people go through.
Well, then they can renew it. Then they have to renew it.
Who's they? There you go, they. You can't
well,
get you can't get out of that nursing home.
You can renew your identification online.
Yeah, there you go.
I lost my a few. You don't want to go through all that. Oh, okay. Well,
I don't want to go through all that. Listen. All I want to know is what. Just like the war, we won. So if we won, let's leave.
Well, you may have noticed we're still in Korea, Japan, and Germany, but we won those wars too.
Exactly. After what? Diplomacy, after treaties, after
after nuking them or destroying their cities. 80 years later.
So when was the last time we nuked?
80 years later, we still occupy Japan and Germany. 75 years after Korea, we still have soldiers there on the DMZ. In fact, there was some shooting yesterday on the DMZ. The North Koreans came across the border.
It's always been shootings. We got videotapes of them.
So we won those wars, but we're still there, and sometimes there's still some shooting.
Okay, you guys are the ones that don't want to police the world. Now you want to leave police. You want to leave them there, right?
I don't understand what you're saying.
We're trying to get out.
But getting back to what, we're trying to end the longest war this country has been in, the war with Iran, 47 years.
Listen, You can say all that.
It's true.
You got people that believe it, but listen, it's been there and it'll still be there. The straits, you say on TV, oh, the strait's open. You're right, the strait's open, but it was only 5 crossings Saturday, 0 crossing Sunday.
So you want to?
You're right, but in the way you're wrong. Compared to hundreds per day.
So you want to let Iran have their way down there with the Strait of Hormuz? You want them to control it? The Iranians, they're so trustworthy.
Leave it the way it was before Trump opened his mouth.
What do you mean the way it was? The way it was is the Iranians.
What we gave up plus our 19 soldiers. Versus what we're going to get out of this since the beginning.
The way it was before, excuse me. The way it was before is Iran was running around the world murdering people, just because nobody would stop them. That's what you want. That's what.
Around the world. Now you worry about around the world.
Well, they've killed thousands of Americans and wounded thousands of Americans over the years.
Correct. Not on American soil, that's for sure.
So it's okay to kill Americans outside of the United States, you think?
Well, listen.
Think about this. This is the second Democrat in a row that said it's okay for Iranians to kill American service personnel.
No, you like to play with words. You can play your words. I don't care. Listen, you have other people. You're denying military people, servicemen. You're saying that their word is bullshit.
Okay, second dump of the day, Mike. Oh my goodness. If you're on hold, stand by. And you know what we'll do? This is a great time for me to talk about Sloman Central Air Conditioning. Oh my goodness. While we wait for the delay to re-engage, there's one opening on the board at 888-465-2631. The liberals are losing their minds in the chat. Have you noticed this? Through these little discussions we're having on the phones, the liberals are losing it. Yesterday, I checked the weather yesterday in the morning. It was 98 degrees with a heat index of 111 yesterday, and it's going to be similar today. Holy smokes. You need to call Sloman Central Air Conditioning and get an air conditioning unit that cools your house properly. I mean, air conditioning is life. And this offer from Sloman Central Air Conditioning is an amazing offer. The best offer on a new air conditioning unit I've ever heard. Listen to this. With Sloman Central Air Conditioning, you can get a high-efficiency, 5-ton, 18-SEER system that uses R454B refrigerant for just $59.99 with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 18 months. It also comes with a 5-year bumper-to-bumper service plan, which includes your annual system maintenance, filter replacement, and refrigerant, so you have no annual maintenance cost. And you'll also receive the Sloman Shield home security system installed with 5 years of professional central station monitoring included in your AC package. Give them a call. Here's the number, 561-217-COOL. That's C-O-O-L. 561-217-COOL. 561-217-COOL. We'll be right back. All right, we're in break. If you're on hold, stand by. I'm going to go back to the phones after the break, guys. And I tell you, the callers are losing their minds, aren't they? Absolutely, they're losing their minds. Yeah, the number's pinned in the live chat. It's 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are listening. And, oh boy, look at this. Oh, I just checked this out. Look at this. Free shipping on all orders $100 or more at MyPillow.com. What an incredible deal. Look at this. The Mega 2 sales going on with huge, huge discounts on some of the most popular products. Look at this. The Giza Dream Sheets, less than $30. The MyPillow towel set, $39.98. This is all with our promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. The pillows, you can get the pillows for less than $20. What incredible deals. Go to MyPillow.com and use my promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E, for these huge savings. That's K-A-N-E, promo code KANE at checkout. And remember, free shipping on orders $100 or more. You can also order by phone, toll-free, 800-716-4879. 800-716-4879. Promo code KANE, K-A-N-E. All right, guys? Absolutely. Okay, we'll be back in just a couple of short minutes, and when we get back, we'll take more of your calls, okay? So don't go anywhere. If you guys could do me the favor of liking the video. You know, when you guys like the video, it helps so much. And it gets the video recommended to people that have not yet found the channel. So please do me the favor.
Richie, I'm so mixed up with this thing. I'm going to say what I'm going to say. Okay, you had a caller that said, "Are you a Zionist?"
Yeah, I know.
And here we go. I'm going to tell it the way I see it. Okay, you have the Marjorie Taylor Greens, Tucker Carlson, and the Thomas Masso, and Jared Kushner, and Steve Witkoff, and probably the worst foreign policy vice president that we've ever had in the White House, J.D. Vance. I'm going to say it right the way I feel about it, okay? You've got on the other, and J.D. Vance and Witkoff are in the president's ear with Kushner in his ear one side. Then you have Pete Hegseth and you have Marco Rubio on the other side. President Trump has flip-flopped back and forth between most, and I think he's listening to J.D. Vance, who's come out and look like an idiot because he says there's moderate Iranian leaders that they can talk to. And then he attacked Israel. Everybody hates Israel, and everyone's attacked Israel and blames Israel for putting the United States in this position. Well, if they blame Israel, President Trump should have listened to Netanyahu and what do you call it? And
Marco Rubio.
In other words, what I'm trying to tell Marco Rubio, and he's flip-flopped too many times, and his last potential threat with the nuclear tactical is another threat. These people, they should go in. If he would have listened to Netanyahu in the first place, regime change, and unleashed the Israelis and unleashed our power, we wouldn't be going through this. The Israelis would have been taking more of them out. I don't care how many leaders you got to take out. To drop any kind of a tactical nuke is like, in a way, I have to agree with Doc. I don't care if it's tactical or not. When you say we control the Straits of Hormuz, no, we don't. We've actually lost control because we got radical, crazy people that still have missiles, even if the boats. So the bottom line is this. He has to change course, start listening to Marco Rubio, stop flip-flopping, because this war, he said, well, this war will be over in 2 weeks. And now it's dragged on all this time, and now it's to the point where you've got to threat the nuclear. No, Brian, not for nothing. We fought this thing really bad. And I don't blame President Trump. He's got to make these decisions, but he's got these crazy people on his left, including J.D. Vance, who doesn't want us over there, who's still J.D. Vance is a...
Well, I'm listening to what you're saying, but I'm kind of not able to pick up on what the main idea of your call is, because you're throwing a lot out there.
The main idea of my call is that, if you hate Israel so much, and President Trump, they've caused us all this, why isn't President Trump listening to Netanyahu and gone for regime change?
Oh, you mean, you're showing that that President Trump's not controlled by Israel. That's exactly right.
No,
yeah.
He's controlled, he's controlled by J.D. Vance, Tucker Carlson, and the rest.
Oh, okay. So he's a puppet for Tucker Carlson.
He's not a puppet. He's influenced by them.
Okay.
He's got to make the ultimate decision, but you don't think they're in his ear? You don't think Tucker Carlson and all these people, he watches media. You don't think he's sitting there saying, well, maybe Netanyahu's wrong, and maybe J.D. Vance is right, that we could talk to these people? We haven't been able to talk to these people. Listen, not for nothing. If he would have listened to a guy like General Keane, maybe this would have been over already, because he's flip-flopped.
Well, okay. So what do you want the president to do moving forward then?
Regime change, man, and end it, and regime change from the very beginning. Stop stopping it, and stop tying Israel's hands. Let's do it already. This way we in and out, and now let me tell you something. Cuba, I'm bringing up Cuba. We've got a blockade. He said that would be over. The regime is ready to. Here they are. They don't care they're starving their people. They don't care if their people don't have electric. It's the same with the Iranians.
Okay, so we're losing. So the main idea is Trump's losing everywhere, is what you're saying.
He's not winning in Cuba.
Okay.
When does that flip? When does Cuba stop that? When does Cuba stop? How long ago
We'll
did
find
they
out.
say the Cubans
How long? I
are
mean,
a
how
terror
long
state?
can
A
they?
matter of days.
How long can they continue like this? We'll find out. Listen, Richie, I got to run for the. I'm late for the break, but I appreciate the call. Richie's in hysterics. He thinks Trump's losing everything. I want to talk about Joe Thomas and annuities. Joe Thomas was in studio with me on Friday, and we were talking about. There's so many different types of annuities, but in particular, we were talking about one that offers a 15% bonus on day one on your money. And generally, when we talk about this, we talk about the $100,000 annuity amount because it's easy to do the math. So if you invest $100,000 in the annuity, you make $15,000 on day one. Isn't that something? But what Joe Thomas told me is you don't have to invest as you can invest $100,000 even more, but you can invest as little as $25,000. And on $25,000, that's over $3,700 you make on day one. Think about that. You could turn your $25,000 into more than $28,000 on day one with Joe Thomas and the 15% bonus fixed indexed annuity. That's absolutely amazing. You know, annuities, with an annuity, your money is never at risk. You can have a check come each and every month, the same day every month for the rest of your life and generate income. And you're never paying commissions. The commissions are paid for by the insurance company. Call Joe Thomas and schedule your no-charge consultation. You can take advantage of this no matter where you're located. If you're local and you want to meet with him at his office in person, that's awesome. Do that, and please do if you can. But if you can't make it into Joe Thomas's office, you can do the appointment, the no-charge consultation. You can schedule it over the phone or a Zoom call or a FaceTime call. He does those too. Give him a call, 561-743-0999, 561-743-0999. And after that no-charge consultation, Joe Thomas is going to put together a custom proposal for you based on your situation. 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. And online, JupiterJoe.com. We'll be right back. All right, we are in break. If you're on hold, stand by. If you'd like to call in, the number's toll-free and pinned in the live chat, guys. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for a smarter way to care for your skin and your hair? You can do just that with Valaya AI. Valaya AI is your personal AI wellness coach. With just a quick scan from your phone, Valaya AI analyzes your skin and hair in seconds, providing personalized recommendations for acne, hydration, wrinkles, pigmentation, dryness, hair health, and that's just the beginning. Using advanced artificial intelligence, Valaya AI creates customized morning and evening routines, recommends products tailored to your needs, and even adjusts your care based on the weather, UV index, and seasonal conditions. What are you waiting for? Download Valaya AI right now in the Apple App Store and Google Play Store and discover a smarter, more personalized approach to skin and hair care. Learn more and see how Valaya works online at mindhatch.ca. That's mindhatch.ca. Valaya AI, healthy skin and hair, powered by artificial intelligence.
All right, and we're still in radio break, but what brought this discussion on today is Marjorie Trader Green posted this yesterday on X. They're discussing using nuclear weapons on Iran in strategy meetings. This is Marjorie Trader Green. Yes, you read that correctly. It's real. I'm not speculating. I know, and it's pure evil. The last time a nuclear weapon was used was August 6th and 9th of 1945 on two cities in Japan, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, immediately killing 110,000 people, vaporizing people at ground zero, and total deaths reached 214,000 by the end of the year from severe burns and trauma. So what we're talking about is, do you support, yes or no, President Trump using tactical nukes on Iran? And the number's toll-free. All opinions are welcome. 888-465. We'll be back in less than a minute. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you're listening. And if you guys could do me the favor of liking the video, I'd really appreciate that. When you like the video, you get the video recommended to people that have not yet found the channel, all right? And that really helps grow the channel a lot. So it's greatly appreciated when you do that. I'm looking for something I want to play in the next segment. Or free. Okay, here we go. 5 seconds. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, hey, Brian. It's Joan from Tampa Bay.
Hey, Joan. What's up?
You know, a strategic nuke on military things only? Yeah, go do it. Let them know we mean business.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
So, exactly. You know, just let them know we mean business. You got to bring them to their knees.
Mm-hmm.
You got to, and, you know, just get all this over and done with, bada bing, bada boom. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, you know, the left always side with the enemies. I mean, they've been doing this since Vietnam. They're always rooting for America to lose. You know? And any time anything happens, if it turns out in a way where America will lose, that's where they want to go.
I know. You know, and I was alive during the Vietnam War, but I was a young girl.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw, you know, my neighbor's sons that were older, you know, going to war and stuff. And it was horrible. You know.
Oh. Oh.
Excuse me. I am a military family. I have nephews that were fighter pilots. My son is still in the Army. I mean, it's like...
Hold on 1 second, Joe, while I'm answering all these phones. Yeah, well, you know, back in the reason that that Vietnam didn't turn out the way we wanted it is because the government, the leaders, the presidents were too wimpish to fight the war properly, right?
Yes, they were.
And
yes,
you want to end a war as fast as possible. You use whatever weapons you have at your disposal. You do what you got to do.
That is true. Walter Cronkite brought it into our living rooms every night back then.
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
War.
That's correct.
You know?
Showing the body bags.
Yes.
On TV every
So,
night.
You know, I'm like, yeah, do it in strategic places that are military. Let them know we mean business, and just get it over with.
See, the Iranians think that we don't have the nerve to do what has to be done, and that they can ride this out. That's it.
That's what they think. That's what I think they think. So it's like, let them know they're stupid, and we're just going to do it.
Yes,
you know?
You make some good points. I agree. All right, Joan, take care. All right, that was 2 calls in a row from Tampa. We're hot in Tampa. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is James from Texas. What's up, Brian?
Not much, Texas. What's up with you?
Now, I can't call it. I just wanted to call in and say a couple of things. And it's basically dealing with what the White House posted yesterday. And they posted one thing. It says, no panicking.
That's correct.
And that's all we need to know, that this administration has not come this far to fail America, who they say.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of panicking out there. Yeah, Richie the bus driver's a panicking.
Yes, sir, he is. And he needs to understand that this is 1776 takeover for real.
Well, I don't know about that, but I know that the combat operation with Iran, we've lost about 19 service personnel, which is an incredibly low number considering the scope of the fighting. Okay. There's no doubt in my mind that because Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, tells us that the inflation is like Weimar Republic level inflation in Iran. I mean, how long can... They're a country of 90 million people, and they have a lot of major cities over there. How long can they keep control if they have a complete economic collapse?
Right. Bessie said that when it's all over and said, that will just be like any other body of water.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Meaning that there won't be a chokehold for whoever's controlling Iran anymore.
Exactly. And, you've heard some of these liberal callers today. I was really shocked. I will give them credit for honesty, but I had two liberal callers in a row who said it was okay for Iranians to kill American citizens in Iraq. I couldn't believe I couldn't believe what I was hearing. The liberals, the Democrats really have come out of the closet with their true feelings on a lot of things.
Yeah, they just control opposition, that's all.
Mm-hmm. No.
All right, Brian, I just want to call in and say no panicking because...
But we have a lot of those.
We just got to ignore them and stay focused on what Trump and his administration is doing.
Mm-hmm.
It's something no other president have done for we, the people.
That's right. All right, take care. Good to hear from you. All right. If you're on hold, stand by. If you'd like to call in, the number is toll-free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. I want to play this clip. This is Gretchen Whitmer and Gavin Newsom sitting down on a podcast, and I will agree with conservative Doug. Gretchen Whitmer does have some sideburns going on. I'm surprised because she takes so much effort to put makeup on and everything, and she has these Elvis Presley sideburns. But she says something about Trump, which is rather surprising. Listen. Now, this blows my mind. She's running an entire state, but she has time to binge watch every episode of every season of Dexter? My goodness. Who was running Michigan? I guess that's how Abdul came up through the ranks. She was watching Dexter. Now listen to what she says now. This is amazing what she says about the president. Wow. So President Trump's delivering for Michigan. Biden wouldn't. Oh my goodness. I think Whitmer has turned MAGA, but she's afraid to admit it. Right? She's afraid. Don't you guys think? I mean, she's sitting there with Gavin Newsom talking about how Biden didn't deliver for her state, but President Trump did. That's pretty amazing. Now, I'll tell you another thing that's amazing. It's Coastal Weight Loss Secret and what Dr. Zuckerman has done. Coastal Weight Loss Secret is the home of the metabolic reset. And what I've learned is that I've kept this weight off. I've lost a lot of weight, guys. And if you go back to my old videos on YouTube, you can see what I used to look like. My face used to be round. I had a belly. Now I've got a flat stomach. I've got my square jaw back, my chin, my neck. I wear a size small shirt. I was wearing size large. Now I'm wearing size small shirts. It's absolutely amazing. And Dr. Zuckerman, after he's helped thousands of patients like me for years and years and years, He's learned a lot. And that's losing the weight and keeping it off isn't about finding another diet or a quick fix. It's about getting your metabolism in order. And Coastal Weight Loss Secret with Dr. Zuckerman has created their doctor-developed metabolic reset. And this is absolutely amazing. Dr. Zuckerman stands behind his metabolic reset, and I do too, because now I know why I've kept the weight off. Without effort, I've kept the weight off. He stands behind this program. He spent years refining it, and he's worked with thousands and thousands of patients, of which I'm one, and there are many in this listening audience. He's built this program around the science of metabolic health, not trends, not shortcuts. The program is built around the habits and strategies that consistently produce results. I've seen it. I'm living it right now. You don't need another diet. You need a metabolic reset. Call Dr. Zuckerman over at Coastal Weight Loss Secret. Now listen, virtual appointments are available. So when you call Dr. Zuckerman, if you're out of town, another state, or maybe you can't make it into his office locally, that's okay. You can do everything virtually. Give him a call and schedule your no-charge consultation right now. 561-359-3418. 561-359-3418. That's 561-359-3418. And online, coastalweightlossecret.com. We'll be right back. All right, if you're on hold, hang in there. If you'd like to call in, the number is toll-free and pinned in the live chat. We'll take a quick break and be right back, guys.
What if you could understand the Bible is one complete story? From creation to Jesus to the fulfillment of end times prophecy. Now you can with engaging, eye-opening Bible study live streams where Scripture comes together in a clear, easy-to-follow way that will deepen your understanding of God's Word. Discover how the events unfolding in today's world fit into the bigger picture God revealed throughout the Bible. Explore biblical prophecy and what it says about the future. Compare God's truth with Satan's deception. Examine the evidence for creation versus evolution and gain fresh insight into the people, places, and promises found throughout Scripture. Whether you're new to Bible study or have been reading the Bible your entire life, these live streams will help you connect the dots, strengthen your faith, and better understand the times we're living in. Don't miss this opportunity to grow in your knowledge of God's Word. Join these life-changing Bible study live streams right now. Find the link in the description of this episode. Share the link on all your social media so your friends can join in too. Again, the link is in the description of this episode. Look in the description and click it right now.
Okay, we'll be back from our radio break in less than a minute. If you'd like to call in, please do. The number is toll-free and pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you're located. And if you guys could do me the favor of liking the video, I'd really appreciate that, guys. When you like the video, you get the video shared with people that have not yet found the channel. We got about 30 seconds. Stand by, guys. All right, we're back, everyone. It is Monday, and if you're on hold, stand by. If you'd like to call in, the number is toll-free, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call, no matter where you are listening. This story of the USS Abraham Lincoln is disgusting, what they're doing, okay? They're not starving. They're being well fed. They're being taken care of. There was one guy who fell overboard, which is very common on board ships, and he was rescued, okay? So we're being fed all these lies, and the food lie that they're not being fed properly on the Lincoln was actually debunked by CNN itself just a few short weeks ago. They sent a reporter to the Lincoln and covered what they were eating.
It can be among the longest consecutive days at sea for any aircraft carrier.
I mean, I haven't stepped off the ship in the year 2026.
Okay, now a couple things there. Now, what they don't say, you see in that piece, which I'm going to describe for you, okay? They're showing what they're eating in the mess hall. They're eating ice cream with cookies. They have caramel that they're putting on top of the ice cream. They have the chocolate chips. Lots of food. And this is on CNN just a few short weeks ago. Now, CNN has debunked their own lies. Now they're saying they're starving, they have no food. And this guy that they interviewed, complaining about the long deployment, listen to his carefully crafted words.
It can be tough to keep spirits high for the nearly 5,000 people here. Because of its limited port visits, the Navy considers this deployment.
I mean, I'm looking at this now. I mean, they have an overabundance of food on the Lincoln. Okay. He says, this sailor here says he hasn't slept off this ship in 2026. That's a lot different than saying, I haven't been able to. Do you understand what I mean? And of course, they don't ask him the question, because I don't know if they didn't occur to them or they have their agenda. You know, but maybe he could have slept somewhere else and chose to stay on board the ship. The way he said it was bizarre. Now, this thing about the deployment, I mean, I'm sorry it's uncomfortable, snowflakes, but there's a war going on. And in past wars, you didn't get leave and ports of call and go spend weekends with the family. You know, in the Second World War, the tour of duty was until the war was over, right? For most. There were some exceptions with things, but that was it until the war was over. You know, and what CNN and what the left are doing, they're doing a couple of things. Okay, they're trying to turn public opinion in the United States, of course, against this victory that we've had over Iran, right? And they're trying to turn the military and military families against them. And you can see they're already putting together a group of people. We keep hearing about this wife, and then they got a grandmother. We don't see any of these people, but we keep hearing about this one grandmother who has a sailor grandson on board the Lincoln. We hear about this wife whose husband fell overboard, you know, and they're putting together, like they did this with the 9/11 families. And they sadly had some success with it, with the 9/11 families. With the 9/11 families, they were protesting everything we did. Or if you remember, I think a better example, actually, come to think of it, isn't the 9/11 families, but what they did with Cindy Sheehan during Iraq. Remember, Cindy Sheehan, sadly, her son, Casey, was killed in the war in Iraq. And they used her to put together a group of people protesting the war in Iraq and protesting G.W. Bush while he was president, and they used his credibility that they had lost sons and daughters in the war. Remember that with Casey DeSantis? They're trying to put together something similar to that right now. This is Senator Kelly, who's a treasonous, and he's trying to guy and trying to start a mutiny on board the Lincoln. Listen. See, I mean, this, you know, repeat a lie often enough, right? One guy who had a life jacket on fell overboard and was rescued. If he was trying to end it, he wouldn't have had the life jacket on. So they had someone who accidentally fell overboard and was rescued. He had a life jacket on. So, but they've turned that into he jumped on purpose, and there's other sailors who are attempting it too. Just total made up. And you know what? Kelly knows it. But he hates Hegseth. Okay, now you see what he's doing? So he's spreading a lie, right? A guy who's trying to end his life by jumping overboard doesn't wear a life jacket. So there was an accidental guy falling over, which is very common on ships, okay? Very common. And he was rescued. They've turned that into some kind of pact that they're so overwhelmed and they're broken men that others are jumping off on purpose. And the one guy fell over by accident. And now Kelly is telling sailors how they can commit mutiny on board the Abraham Lincoln. Mm. Of course. And he's the one to lead it. Which again, and then here he is repeating the lie again. You know, this guy, you know, his hatred of Pete Hegseth and of President Trump is at a whole new level because, you know, with the seditious six and everything that he was involved in, and he can't see straight. One guy wearing a life jacket fell overboard and was rescued, and look at what they've turned this into. And I keep hearing about this wife. Where's the wife? Right? I got another clip of him that I'll see if I can find it. I saw it over the weekend. And if I can find it, I'll play it for you after the break. But I want to talk about life imaging. You know, August is National Wellness Month. And you know, a heart scan is something you want to have done every year. You want to have it done annually. And August being National Wellness Month, that's a great month to start that yearly tradition of your annual heart scan over at Life Imaging, because it's a great reminder, right? Okay, August is National Wellness Month. I need to call Life Imaging and schedule my heart scan. It's a great way to do it, and it should be a top priority, and this is something you should do annually. I'll tell you, it really breaks my heart when I hear stories of people having heart attacks and they die. And if they would have just gone to Life Imaging and had the heart scan, they could have gone to their doctor and they would have taken care of it before they had that heart attack. Preventative health care. That's what Life Imaging is all about. You know, they have locations in Broward County, Dade County, Palm Beach County, and in Orlando. So there's no excuse, okay? While you're over there, make sure you ask about their full body cancer screening and virtual colonography, and say goodbye to sedation. Call right now for your free heart scan with a few minimum requirements valued at $699. From your cell, dial pound 250 and say free heart scan. You'll be connected in seconds. That's pound 250, say free heart scan, and you will be connected in seconds. All right, guys? Okay, 2 hours down, 1 to go. The show is flying by. I cannot believe, and I started early, right, the pre-show, so I cannot believe we're through 2 hours already. I feel like I just opened up the mic. If you're on hold, stand by. If you'd like to call in, the number's toll-free, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call, no matter where you are listening. Oh, yes, I found this other clip of Senator Kelly. That what a lying guy. I'll just say it that way. This guy is the biggest liar. I got a clip of Kelly over the weekend. He calls himself Captain Mark Kelly. It should be Seaman Mark Kelly or Ensign Mark Kelly. This guy, he was involved in that sedition video. Now he's trying to start a mutiny on the USS Abraham Lincoln. And wait to hear this next clip of Kelly. I'll share it with you right after the top of the hour break. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. My name is Brian Craig. We'll be back right after our top of the hour break. Okay, we are in break, guys. Now, those of you that are Medicare recipients, listen up. Chapter is here to help you, okay? Chapter covers the entire United States. So no matter what state you are in, give Chapter a call at the number on the screen. I'm going to give it to you in a moment, and it's also in the description of the video. When you call Chapter, it's completely free. You'll speak with a licensed Medicare advisor, and they'll review your policy. And since Chapter's a national company, they have access to all of the over 25,000 policies nationwide. They'll make sure that you're in the right policy. They'll make sure that you're in the policy that covers your specialist, your prescriptions, your doctors, your local pharmacy. If you have a supplement, they'll make sure you have the right supplement and that you're not paying too much. Give Chapter a call right now. It is completely free. Speak to one of their licensed Medicare advisors, 805-754-3033. 805-754-3033. That's 805-754-3033. All right, you can call no matter what state you are in. Okay, stand by. Okay. Okay, we'll be back shortly. Hang in there. All right, stand by. Okay, we've got about 40 seconds and we'll be back. All right, 10 seconds, guys. Okay. All right, the 8 o'clock hour has begun. My name's Brian. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Okay, yeah, this is the other clip I wanted to play of Senator Kelly. And it's scary to me This guy was a naval aviator and an astronaut. And I always thought they picked the best of the best and the greatest Americans. He is such an angry psychopath trying to cause a mutiny. In fact, even telling sailors how they can mutiny and then under the guise of legality. I mean, it's crazy. Here is Kelly over the weekend, Senator Kelly, on MS Now with Jen Psaki.
My understanding is that you spoke today to your grandmother whose grandson is on board the USS Lincoln. What did she tell you?
Well, she is a constituent of mine. She lives in Sun City. Her grandson is aboard the Lincoln. He works as an electrician's mate, and he's struggling as well. He's depressed about the situation he is in. He doesn't know when this deployment is going to end. I'd say the most disturbing thing she told me is she saw a picture of him, and she said when he got into the Navy, it was already like a skinny kid. He's 21 years old. She says it looks like he's lost 20 to 25 pounds.
Okay, now let me stop it, then I'll play the rest of it. What's missing here? So here we have Senator Kelly. He met with a grandmother who I guess is an Arizona grandmother. She says he showed him a picture. He's skin and bones. And Kelly says, Senator Kelly of the seditious six, the grandmother told him that he went into the Navy skinny. He's lost 25 to 35 pounds. You know what's missing? He's on television. Where's the picture, Senator? Show us the photograph of this starving young sailor on board the USS Abraham Lincoln. Please hold it up to the audience so we can see it. Because if we have someone who's malnourished and starving on the Lincoln, I want to know about it. I want to see it. I want to take care of. Why is he not showing us the photograph?
My understanding is that you spoke today to a grandmother whose grandson is on board the USS Lincoln. What did she tell you?
Well, she is a constituent of mine. She lives in Sun City. Her grandson is aboard the Lincoln. He works as an electrician's mate, and he's struggling as well. He's depressed about the situation he is in. He doesn't know when the deployment is going to end.
Well, is it normal for like an electrician's mate to have tactical information and know when the deployment of naval vessels in a combat situation is going to end? I don't know. I mean, is it unusual for somebody at that level not to be told when the ship's going to be moved?
I'd say the most disturbing thing she told me, she saw a picture of him, and she said when he got into the Navy, he was already like a skinny kid. He's 21 years old. She says it looks like he's lost 20 to 25 pounds. But the thing that also bothered her the most was the dismissiveness that Pete Hegseth brought to this whole situation. She saw what he said, and she said it was rather disturbing that this is the way that he represented what was going on.
Okay, now, see, where's Grandma? Where's this wife? Where's the photograph of the starving sailor? And Grandma here seems pretty opinionated. So, if Grandma's so opinionated, why isn't she on with Senator Kelly, on with Jen Psaki? Do you buy his story? I'm calling total BS on his story. And I'll tell you another thing. You know, he's a Navy veteran. He's disgraced himself. There's no doubt about it. But he's a retired captain from the U.S. Navy. As a retired Navy man, if there really were people starving on that ship, you know what he would be asking to do? He's a sitting United States Senator, naval aviator, and astronaut. One, he would show the photograph and have Grandma beside him, and he would demand that Pete Hegseth immediately allow him to lead a delegation to the aircraft carrier and meet with this young sailor, this electrician's mate, and see the conditions and save him and bring food while they're at it. But you don't hear him doing that, do you? He's been on aircraft carriers before. He flew off of them. You know, this is what I mean that I'm calling complete BS on this. All right? Calling complete BS on this. This guy is such a disgrace. You know, the thing about the Trump derangement syndrome, there's a lot of things that lead up to it, all right? Here, one of it boils down to is the powers that be don't control President Trump. He's completely independent of them. And he gets things done. And he goes against the grain because he's not part of this corruption that is the federal government. And he challenges them. And here you got a guy, Mark Kelly, big shot astronaut, naval captain. He's never been challenged in his whole life. He's only had his butt kissed. I misspoke. He's only had his butt kissed. So he gets challenged one time in his life. He breaks under pressure. You know, I saw The Right Stuff. I read the book, The Right Stuff, too. You ever read The Right? It's a good book. You've seen the movie, read the book. It's very good, The Right Stuff. He doesn't sound like a guy that's got the right stuff. Remember that scene in The Right Stuff when they were looking for those astronauts and they had to sit in that room and were being tortured and water tortured and all this stuff? And they had to survive that without cracking? This guy gets pressed just a little bit. He totally cracked. That's what we were sending up on the shuttles? Would you want to be on a rocket ship with him flying? Not me. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Patrice from Lake Clark Shores.
Hey, how you doing, Patrice?
Very good. About the Lincoln, I say if you hate flying, you don't become a pilot. When you join the army, you know you may be you may be sent like in World War II for 4 years and you don't come back. So that's bullshit.
Oh, okay. That's the third dump of the day. Third dump of the day. Oh my goodness. Third dump of the day. Oh boy. Oh boy. There's a lot of passion in the audience today. A lot of passion. You know, we don't have a lot of rules. One of the rules is you can't use profanity on the radio. So, oh my goodness. And we were going somewhere with that guy, and he was on our side. The other dumps were for liberals. Now, I posted this picture on my X, Brian Craig Show on X. If you don't follow me on X, I put all my show prep on my X, by the way. Although Elon Musk has restructured X, where I may have to find a new way to organize my show prep, because X, the way he's got it set up now, isn't working. They did this new update to X. Anyway, you guys don't care about the new update on X. But if you're on hold, stand by while we wait for the delay to re-engage. Oh my goodness. You know, what is it? You know, hey, it's passion. It's passion in the audience. But there's two photographs that are circulating that they're trying to show you that they're starving on the Lincoln. Call is on hold. Hang in there. I got to wait for the delay to re-engage. Both of them, one is a close-up of a tray, and that tray comes from the bigger photo. They wanted to stop showing the bigger photo. It is not from the Lincoln. And this photograph is on my X, at Brian Craig Show. The galley photograph that they're showing, you see the walls are made out of concrete blocks. They don't use concrete blocks on aircraft carriers for walls and supports. And you see the kitchen, the walls of the kitchen are made out of concrete blocks, the big concrete blocks. And this is not a galley on a ship that they're showing where they're eating. It looks like a galley in a prison maybe, but these trays that they're showing that have rotten food and everything, this is not on board the Abraham Lincoln or any other naval vessel, or any other vessel of any kind that's at sea. They don't make the ships out of concrete like this on the inside. All right, the number to call in is 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. And, you know, those of you in the listening, I just got a text from Mike the Board Op about the dumps today. I didn't pick up on this. He did, you know, but this is very unusual. The dumps today have all been over. They all want to say BS. I can't say the word. I'd have to dump myself. Yeah. Both, yeah, I don't know. That's the phrase of the day. All right, callers on hold. You stand by. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. I'm looking for my phone numbers here. I want to talk about Dr. Appleton and his robotic laser away pain treatment. You know, it's Monday. Maybe you're a little too active over the weekend and you're in some pain today. Go see Dr. Appleton. Remember, appointments are not necessary and walk-ins are welcome, and the consultation's free. So stop in today and see Dr. Appleton if you're in pain. Little tennis, little golf, mowing the lawn. Maybe you're at the pickleball court, maybe doing some swimming. The heat index was 111 degrees yesterday. You might have been doing some swimming and you're in pain. Pain is not a part of growing older. I thought it was until I met Dr. Appleton. And, you know, the first pain he relieved me of in my knee, I'd suffered from for over 25 years from a car accident many years ago. And it was so much pain. It really was. And when Dr. Appleton told me he could treat me and rid me of pain without surgery, without shots, without medication, totally painless, without downtime, I was skeptical because I'd suffered from over 25 years. It was my right knee. And after that first treatment, I saw relief, and I've been pain-free. And I don't know it was July. I don't know if it was 4 or 5 years this past July, but it's been at least 4. And like with all the pains Dr. Appleton has rid me of, none of the pains have returned because his robotic laser repairs the damage that causes the pain. Call Dr. Appleton and say bye-bye to your pain too. His number, 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. That's 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. Call us on hold, stand by. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. We'll take our first break of the 8 o'clock hour and be right back. But you see this picture? That is not inside an aircraft carrier, I'm sorry to tell you, or any other naval vessel. Look at that photograph. Now, those of you watching on the live stream that has the green screen behind me, that you just see the green, if you go to my main stream, you can see and hear all the audio, video, and audio sound bites I play, okay? But if you go to my main stream here on the channel, you can see and hear all of that, okay? Okay, we got about 90 seconds and we'll be back, guys. Less than a minute. Less than 30 seconds, guys. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, this is Dave from Pennsylvania.
Hey, Dave, what's up?
Yeah, I called you last week about the Lincoln thing. I'm a Navy veteran, and I still laugh at that photo with the cafeteria.
Oh, with all the concrete blocks in there? Yeah.
Yeah, that's fake because, number one, there's no ceiling tiles. You would see exposed wiring and ductwork, not ceiling tiles. see what I'm talking about. And in the very back of that picture, there's a door with an exit sign. You're gonna say a watertight door, not a regular door.
Yeah. I'm just noticing that. I didn't see. It's a regular door that has a hinge.
Yeah, it has an exit on
Good.
the front.
Yeah, it's really tiny. I missed that in the back. Yeah.
On the ship, you have a watertight door. So that's a bunch of BS there.
Yeah.
And also, when I was on the submarine, a lot of friends asked me, how did you survive, being bored and that? First of all, they keep you busy.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, you meet a lot of friends. They're like an extended family. They're like your brothers, so they keep your mind off of thinking of home because you're actually at a second home, with the friends that you
Yeah, I remember I had a friend on the Enterprise, and he told me he'd work like 90 hours or more a week,
Yeah, and one last thing, I'm sure there's a chaplain on the aircraft carrier because they hold Sunday services for religious people, and if you you need to talk to a chaplain, he's there for, helping you out.
Well, listen, this thing with Senator Kelly, he's such a disgrace to the astronaut corps, to the Navy. I mean, it's just so disgusting, this guy. If he, he's a sitting United States senator. If he tells this story of the grandmother whose grandson is starving and has lost 30 pounds and looks like a Holocaust survivor, if he asked on that interview to visit the aircraft carrier, they would fly him out there immediately, and he could leave. As much as they hate him, they would fly him out to the carrier with a group. He could meet with this sailor and find out what the situation is, see him, talk to him, meet with the doctor, look at his reports to see, is he malnourished, and do an inspection. But he doesn't want to do it because Senator Kelly knows the story is not true. And if he goes out there, the story will die quickly. He knows better.
That's exactly right. So, yeah, it's all fake people. Trust me, I've been there, and I'm sure other people will say the same, so don't believe
Well, let me tell you, I picked up on the concrete blocks, which isn't a big, although this has been going viral for days. I'm surprised more, but I didn't even notice the door in the back of the room is a standard door that you would see inside any building. No airtight doors that has that wheel thing on it or anything. Yeah, this is not on board a ship.
No, that's a giveaway for people who've been there, so we know that.
All right. Appreciate the
Brian,
call.
have a good one.
All right, take care. And this is the thing, okay? I will say this. As much as I love Pete Hegseth should invite Kelly and another team with members of the media and go and find that sailor that he was referencing. I don't think the sailor exists, but he knows who he is. Kelly knows who he is, he says, because he talked to Grandma. So he knows who Grandma is. He could go to that ship, and Pete Hegseth, I'm a little surprised with Pete Hegseth because he's a media guy, and he could debunk all of this, and there would be no better way to debunk it than searching for this grandmother's grandson sailor who's out there who's lost 30 pounds and is starving to death, according to Senator Kelly. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brother Brian, IB.
Hey, IB.
A couple of other things. You just mentioned the door, but anyone who's ever been on a ship or see war movies have to understand there's always wiring and pipes running along everywhere that you are. If you look at and they always have low ceilings, and they always have metal, some type of a metal area to eat. It's not some blue counter with high ceilings and paneling like that, okay? But the picture itself gives it away because there is no piping and wiring running along, the edges of the place there. So and then why would they have, Brian? Why would they have like plates sitting there with no one sitting down?
Yeah.
Hardly any condiments on the table.
Yeah, hold on, IB. My phone's ringing off the hook here. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Good points there, IB. You guys got good eyes. You're picking up on things I missed.
Yeah, because I'm into war movies and westerns, but it's simple basic common sense. The same way they laid down paper on the floor when they busted into Mar-a-Lago, said Trump has all the secret documents laying around, all it. That's just simply a prop Rahm Emanuel said, never let a good crisis go to waste. All they want to do here is try to turn, obviously, a public opinion against the war in Iran, and they use the guy falling off the boat to start a new narrative, and now they're lighting themselves with that new narrative by having that bald-head clown, and I can't believe that he sits there with a straight face. These people are persona evil to even continue with such nonsense. Trump simply has to do what the lady earlier said. We must take out all of their oil refineries. Cog Island has to go.
You're absolutely correct. Hey, Abby, I'm going to move on. Time's short, but you make some good points, and good eye on that picture. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian from Deerfield.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, Brian. How are you today?
All right.
You know, a guy like Kelly would have been a guy that I looked up to. You know, a fighter pilot.
Oh, yeah.
Senator. Well, not so much a senator.
Astronaut.
Astronaut and everything. I started to wonder, how did this guy get through the flight training, the flight jets, and the astronaut training program? Are we missing something here?
Well, they obviously lowered standards because he gets a little criticism and he has meltdowns.
Yeah, I mean, you would never even think a guy like this would come out of either one of those programs. And yet here he is mouthing off like he, I don't know, like a wimp or something. He just, it's a disgrace. He's disgraceful.
Well, I think about, I think about those guys in the right, remember, you ever see The Right Stuff, the movie?
Oh, yeah.
Remember when remember that it was Dennis Quaid and Fred Ward, they're sitting in this room for like a week with their feet in a bucket of, I don't know what it was, looked like Alka-Seltzer, and they're playing music and they're doing, and if you can't handle the pressure, you can't be an astronaut. This guy, you give him the slightest bit of I mean, look at all the criticism I get. Do you see what the people say about me in my live chat on YouTube? I mean, my goodness.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and he gets a little bit of criticism and he totally cracks. Thank the Lord nobody criticized him when they were in space. We might have lost another shuttle.
I tell you, it's really a good point. I don't think he could do this radio program that you do.
Oh, my goodness.
I just know way he'd get through it.
No,
no way. This guy is taking himself down in front of the American people, and I think they're looking at this guy like, oh, this guy's a disgrace. It's really pathetic to see.
Yeah,
and
it
he's
is.
discredited, I think, both the astronaut training program.
Well, here, Senator Kelly, I'll tell you a couple things, okay? This has been a rule of thumb, okay? And you guys hear the criticisms that I get over the years from callers and if you saw my live chat on YouTube while I'm doing the show, it's amazing the things that people come up with. And, you know, and those things don't bother me for a number of reasons, but it's been my experience that what triggers people the most is when you say something critical that's true. When you touch a nerve because they know it's true. So something that Pete Hegseth and the president said about Kelly, the seditious six, that triggered him because he realized that it was sedition. And it was, and he knows it, and it triggered him. And here's a guy that's been going around his whole career getting his butt kissed, right? He was a captain.
Absolutely.
So people stand up and salute. He was an astronaut, so even the admirals probably stand up and salute him. You know, his wife had that sad tragedy, so then they, you know, and he's just had a charmed life.
Well, have any retired admirals come out and commented on this?
Oh, you know, I just got a text message from a friend of mine. I'm not going to tell you who it is because it's somebody that you guys would know. He said we did have that astronaut that drove in the diapers. Remember? Yes. Years ago, there was a love triangle between three NASA astronauts that were on the space station.
Yeah.
And one of them found out that her boyfriend was having an affair with another lady astronaut. She drove from Houston to Florida wearing a diaper so she didn't have to stop. Yeah. Remember that, to confront him for cheating on her?
Yeah, I do.
So she confronts him wearing a diaper filled with number one, number two, I guess. I don't know. So the people... I forgot about that nutbag.
Not exactly highlights of the space program.
Oh, things have changed since the days of Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, I got to run. These are the, if you ever watch Armageddon, there's a scene in it where Bruce Willis and his team are walking, and the astronaut says, "Talk about the wrong stuff," right? It's a big funny line in the movie.
Yeah.
The astronauts are not what they used to be. All right, take care, take care. If you're on hold, stand by. Yeah, remember the diaper-wearing astronaut? Oh, my goodness. All right, listen, we're going to take our break for the bottom of the hour, but before we do that, I want to talk about Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing. You know, there was a listener that was, speaking of my chat room on YouTube, was saying they need a new roof, and they're over on the Gulf of America coast. Yeah, you can call Tom Laporta. Tom Laporta covers both the east and west coast of Florida, the Atlantic coast and the Gulf of America coast, and everywhere in between. And, you know, one thing we often talk about with Tom Laporta, this is an important point to be made. Tom Laporta will never sell you a roof you do not need, which means if you just need a simple repair, he'll do it. And let me tell you, we have more roofers in the state of Florida per capita than any other place in the world, I promise you, because of the hurricanes. We're in hurricane season now. I've never heard another roofer or roofing company say that. In fact, before I knew Tom Laporta, I had some damage to my roof after a hurricane 20-some years ago, and I was just missing a couple shingles. I called every roofer in town to replace. We don't do repairs. We only install roofs, but I just have a couple shingles. Well, we don't do that. Can you believe? If you need just a simple repair, Tom Laporta will do it. He works on every type of structure, whether it's residential, commercial, even municipal, and with every type of roofing material as well. And he can handle the job of any size, whether it's one home, one office building, one government building, or an HOA that has over 450 units. Tom Laporta can do it. And those of you that have high rises, I saw one of Tom Laporta's videos that he took of a roof he was working on, a high rise. He does roofs on those big, tall high rises on the beach. Give him a call. This number rings directly to Tom Laporta's cell phone, 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. And online, laportaroofing.com. We'll be right back. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. I'll go to the phones after the break, guys. We'll take a quick break, and then when we come back, I'll take the calls. We've got a whole bunch more to get into.
What if you could understand the Bible as one complete story? From creation to Jesus to the fulfillment of end times prophecy. Now you can with engaging, eye-opening Bible study live streams where Scripture comes together in a clear, easy-to-follow way that will deepen your understanding of God's Word. Discover how the events unfolding in today's world fit into the bigger picture God revealed throughout the Bible. Explore biblical prophecy and what it says about the future. Compare God's truth with Satan's deception. Examine the evidence for creation versus evolution and gain fresh insight into the people, places, and promises found throughout Scripture. Whether you're new to Bible study or have been reading the Bible your entire life, these live streams will help you connect the dots, strengthen your faith, and better understand the times we're living in. Don't miss this opportunity to grow in your knowledge of God's Word. Join these life-changing Bible study live streams right now. Find the link in the description of this episode. Share the link on all your social media so your friends can join in too. Again, the link is in the description of this episode. Look in the description and click it right now.
All right, we'll be back in just over a minute, and I will go back to the calls. If you're on hold, stand by. That Bible study link is in the description. Guys, please check that out. It's a great Bible study. It's done by one of our regular watchers and listeners to the program. They do live streams twice a week, but after the live stream, it's archived up on the site. So if you go into the description, it says Bible study in the description of the video, and you'll see the link right next to it. Check it out. If you'd like to call in, all opinions are welcome. The number's toll-free. It's pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you're listening. And also, guys, please do me the favor of liking the video if you've not already done it, okay? When you like the video, you get the video recommended to people that have not yet found the channel, and that helps out so much, guys. So please like the video. Okay, we have about 20 seconds, and we'll be back, okay? Yeah, there's 350 likes, guys. So do some more likes if you don't mind. Here we go. Okay, we're back. It's the Steve Kane Show. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Edward. I'm calling from upstate New York.
All right, Edward in New York. What's up?
I just I've watched you a couple of times. I consider myself a centrist. But this whole thing with the Navy ship, I think people should accept the fact that there's three possibilities. One, the sailors are telling the truth. Two, it is being exaggerated. Or three, somewhere in the middle.
Okay, now slow down for a second here. Now slow down. Okay, all right. Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead. I just was answering the phones. Okay, continue.
I just want people to think about one way or the other how they feel if it comes out, 100% true that the Navy, there are shortages, or 100% how you'd feel if you believed it and it wasn't true. I just want people to think before they say something.
Well, hold on a second here. There's a couple things here. We're not talking about shortages because in a war zone, I mean, sometimes I go to the groceries. Remember when they were out of toilet paper during the lockdown? Sometimes I'll go to the grocery store and they'll be out of something. Okay, but what Senator Kelly is talking about, he says that there are sailors on board that have lost 25 to 30 pounds. That they're actually starving and they're like skeletons, okay? That is not believable. That's not believable. Is it to you?
It's theoretically possible. There are factors like stress. It is a combat environment that could cause...
No, he's not talking about from stress. He's implying that the sailors have so little food that they're eating starvation rations. And I don't believe that's of all ships. That first of all, this is an aircraft carrier. They can fly out there with supplies on planes or helicopters. It's part of the Abraham Lincoln is part of a carrier fleet group. So why is we're not hearing about starvations on the ships surrounding it? Wouldn't they take some of the food over to the Lincoln and help them out? The story is not credible. Would you agree?
Yeah, and I'm not saying it's not credible. I'm saying maybe it's being exaggerated, and that's
well, no one. The other thing is they say that this wife says that her husband tried to take his life. One sailor fell overboard wearing a life jacket and was rescued. Okay, if he was trying to take his own life, would he have been wearing a life jacket?
No.
Okay.
So I mean, suicides do happen in the military, in combat. So it's not. I'm not that somebody could have tried to take their life and it could be exaggerated, or it could have been, somebody attempting to make it look like suicide so they could get sent home. That's what I'm saying. We got to think about things, and there's a lot going on in the world, and take a time to think and think things can be exaggerated one way or the other. Propaganda exists.
And the other thing, the clip I played with Senator Kelly, he said one of his constituents, her grandson, is the one that lost 30 pounds. She showed him a photograph. He's skin and bones. Why didn't he show the photograph to Jen Psaki on MS Now? He could have blocked out the guy's face. You know.
Sure.
Why did he not? So everything about it, I'm not talking about being, my wife sent me to the grocery store yesterday, and there was one thing I didn't get. She says, why didn't you get it? I said, because they were out. Oh, okay. So, we're not talking about being out or short of supplies. We're talking about they're claiming they're starving. And let me tell you, if there was a sailor who lost 30 pounds out there and he saw the photograph, he'd be all over television with it, Kelly. So everything about it is not credible. I mean,
but we should investigate. There should be an investigation because there are family members who are saying they have concerns.
I will say that Pete Hegseth has dropped the ball a little bit here because he's a media person. He should challenge Senator Kelly to travel with him, with members of the media, and let's find this woman's grandson that's lost 30 pounds on board. Let's find him.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
An investigation. Look into it.
Yes.
And, sure that it's open in public because That's the only way to ensure that people who have family members over there know their family's being taken care of.
Yeah.
And we know.
But the
stop
stories
putting
but the
people
stories that
down.
are being reported are not credible. As an example, the photograph they've been circulating, I've been debunking all morning. The concrete blocks for the walls, the kitchen, and supports, and the one caller called in and pointed out it's a regular door there, not a watertight door. This is what they've been circulating, showing the starvation rations in the galley on board. The photo's fake. It looks like it's in a prison, but I don't know. It could be an army base or something on land, but it's certainly not the Lincoln. Nothing about the accusations are credible.
And that's why I said investigations to assure everyone.
Yes.
One way
Agreed.
or the other.
Agreed.
And if there are these issues, then Pete Hegseth needs to just...
And by
call them
investigation, to me, means Pete Hegseth taking Senator Kelly with members of the media, Rachel Maddow, Anderson Cooper, whoever they want to send, David Muir, go to the carrier, let's find this grandson that's lost 30 pounds on board and see him and talk to him and find out what's going on, if he even exists.
Exactly. That I do agree. Like I said, I'm a centrist. I disagree with a lot of what you said, but there are things you say, like the whole Max Miller, like that people get nasty in divorces.
That's true.
I personally think he should have stepped down and let an investigation happen just to be better for his constituents. Say, I've got to worry about this. Put somebody in who can, take care of it. That's the problem with a lot of our politicians.
Well, they brought up the story on the eve of the primary. Why didn't they bring this up a year ago or 2 years ago?
Yeah, there's a lot to the story. I've heard the recordings about him talking about how he was taking.
Are you married? Are you married?
Me? Not yet. I have a long-time fiance.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. Why are there recordings of him? What kind of person's recording their spouse? I see these divorces and everything, like Johnny Depp's psycho ex-wife, and they record their spouses, and then you see it in these divorce hearings. I mean, that's a violation.
But I studied criminal justice, and I worked with people who were, victims advocates for that. And if you are in an abusive relationship, and this goes for men or women, they say record if you can safely. It's an extra layer of protection. And this goes back and forth for both, because if you get accused of doing something bad, it doesn't matter. If you have a recording that proves you didn't do it.
I cannot imagine a situation where I'm recording my wife or she's recording me to use again to collect evidence. That's not a marriage, okay? If you're recording each other so you can have records to prove things, you need to get out of that marriage.
Well,
that's crazy.
That's usually when the marriage is pretty much over, and you know how people can be stubborn. But I'm saying I agree with you on that.
And a lot of times, like in the Johnny Depp case, okay, because I remember I followed that a little bit, his wife obviously was triggering him because she knew she was recording. She was pushing his buttons to get a reaction so that she could get an outrageous photo or video of him. So just because things are recorded doesn't mean that they're legit either, right? People start fights and push buttons, and then all of a sudden, then they start recording.
Yeah, I'm saying it's one of those things that, there's a lot of situations.
How long have you been engaged to your fiance?
20-something years. I'm 50.
What the heck? How old is she?
She's 47 gonna be.
She's spent her whole life with you. You won't put a ring on her finger? I
put a ring. We just haven't been able to get married.
Why not?
Financial reasons.
Oh my goodness! You're 50 years old. She's 47. If you're not going to get your act together now, oh my goodness! All right, hey, listen, I got to run. I'm up against the break, but you take care. I'd like to get. I'm interested in that. Seems very strange to me. I want to talk about Jupiter Joe Thomas. I was talking about Joe Thomas in the last hour about the annuity where you get 15%. You make 15% on your money on day one, and he offers a no-charge consultation, which you can take advantage of no matter where you're located. I want to just share with you, I do this from time to time because I think it's very important, share with you the value of this no-charge consultation. Listen, Joe Thomas has over 30 years of retirement planning experience, and he's a 5-time qualifying member of the $1 Million Roundtable, which is achieved by fewer than 1% of all financial advisors in the world. So he's a top man in the industry, and he's offering you a no-charge consultation, after which he's going to put together a custom proposal based on your situation, on what he recommends is best for you, based on your goals and your situation. You know, annuities are amazing. Your money's never at risk, and you're guaranteed an income stream each and every month, the same day of every month, automatically deposited into your bank account for the rest of your life. Give him a call and schedule your no-charge consultation, 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. You can also find his number online at jupiterjoe.com. We'll be right back. All right, if you're on hold, guys, stand by, okay? All right, and it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with our first gold, silver, and precious metals report of the new week. William Youngerman, how the metals looking?
Everything's looking higher this morning.
Awesome.
Following Friday's close, which was all higher for all four metals. Friday we saw gold trade in a range of $4,310 on the low, all the way up to $4,398. Closing out the week at $4,375.60 the ounce for gold. That was up $25.30 on Friday. Silver gained 26 cents on Friday, closing out the week at $64.58, while platinum was up $34 at $1,745, and palladium gained $6 at $12.98. And the rally continues a little bit. It was up higher this morning. At one point, we were up at $4,417. But right now we're at $43.79, which is up $3.40. Silver up 53 cents at $65.10 the ounce. Platinum up $15 at $1,760, and palladium up $10 at $1,308. So we're starting off the week a little bit higher. We'll see if these numbers can hold this morning. The selling pressure continues to come in at times when we get these new highs or these new higher areas above the support levels. So the markets are doing very well, and any kind of pullback should be a buying opportunity.
Yeah, you know, I want to talk just a moment with you, William, because we talk about buying all the time, but you actually buy. And at these prices, I can just imagine people are coming in with these little tiny chains and things like this, and they're finding out how much they're worth, and their eyes must just pop out of their heads.
Yeah, they really are amazed. They'll come in and they'll have a little like gold chain or some earrings that they don't wear anymore. They're missing one of them, and we tell them how much it is, and they go like, "Really?"
Exactly,
Yeah, that
exactly.
makes a huge difference. I mean, gold is 3 times what it once was, or even more so.
And when it comes to jewelry, old broken jewelry, ugly out of style jewelry, broken earrings and bracelets, whatever, if it's of the metals, it's money.
That's right. Yep, and we buy it all day long at very, very fair prices. So
And
we're very excited about it.
And those of you that have sterling silver sets that are sitting in some cabinet or a box, you buy sterling silver sets as well, and those are valuable too.
Yes, indeed.
Listen, give William Youngman a call. He opens up at 10 a.m. 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. Stop in at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. And you can find both his address and phone number on his website, WilliamYoungerman.com. That's WilliamYoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, we'll touch base tomorrow.
Okay, have a great day. Thank you.
All right, take care, take care. All right, let's go back to our very busy phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. JJ from Mass.
Hey, JJ.
Hey, this Lincoln story, the Abraham Lincoln, it's just such an obvious psyop, negative
Yes.
cloud over Trump's head story. I mean, it's quite pathetic, but yeah, I mean, I look at the picture. I think everybody can see cinder blocks. They don't use those on Navy ships, and drop-down ceilings. Those are the first two things I saw. I mean, it looks more like, I think you had mentioned a prison. It's like a.
I see some guys in camo, so I don't know. I see some guys in camo, so I don't know if it.
The guy looks like the pants. My eyes aren't all that good, but I'm thinking more it's like maybe a military cafeteria in Guatemala or someplace in Latin America.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think that's U.S. really.
No, and they have morphed. They've morphed into a close-up of one of the trays because they've started to realize the concrete blocks. That's not a ship.
Yeah. The ships, they don't work well. They use a lot of steel. They don't use concrete blocks. It's.
The ships have to float. They have to float.
Yeah, floating. That's the whole idea. Those ships, unless they're Iranian, maybe that's a picture of the Iranian.
I don't know.
Cafeteria on one of their ships.
Exactly.
But it's just running out of. They show the pictures of the real. Some pictures of.
No, hold on. My phones are just ringing off the hook here. Yeah, okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I saw Hershey's syrup. I'm like, okay, maybe they ran out of Hershey's syrup and they had to switch to butterscotch or something. But that's just such a crazy.
Well, listen, in the Second World War, they had long deployments too, and I know they're saying no, every 90 days. That's not true. Back then, they didn't have nuclear-powered ships, so they would return to port to refuel to bases, or and things like that. But they didn't go home. They were pretty much there for the duration, unless the ship was damaged and had to be repaired.
Supply chain was very, very important. I look at this MTG thing. I mean, to me, Brian, I just think that's sort of a Candace Owens play. Look at me, I'm crazy.
Yes.
I mean, listen, I've heard the talk about the nukes. We're not gonna. I just don't see us using nukes. This is not a existential threat to the
Yeah, but doesn't it help if the Iranians start to think we might?
Exactly. Well, my point was going to be I mean, maybe I shouldn't be saying this, but look, they don't know what the hell Trump's going to do, and I love that. I just don't think he's not going to do that because number one, we don't need to. But putting the fear of it in them and driving them, listen. As much as we have people that think that picture is on an aircraft carrier. Just imagine the people in the IRGC, what they believe. They can be fooled as well. So I think it's good. It kind of drives them a little crazy. I think that's a good thing. And while regime change was never our goal, the things that we are doing, it's going to, it basically sets the board for a natural regime change. Which, if it does, I mean, it's going to happen.
Well, I was surprised. I showed this map. I went over this map early in the show, so I'm not going to do it again. But I did not realize how big some of the cities were in Iran, and it's a city by city map. And what they've done is they've gone through the cities of Iran, and they put a U.S. city name on it that's of equal size. Like Tehran has a population about of New York City. Then they got another city that has a population of Chicago, and they go through. And I didn't realize how large how many cities they had. And
it puts it in context, which is good. It puts it in context.
they have these are the 20. It's a map with the 20 largest cities in Iran. Okay, and they're pretty darn big. And so what are we going to do?
Yeah, it's going to me, I think this is going, I mean, for me, I think Trump, as soon as he started the Abraham Accords and he started moving everybody towards reason, towards a coalition of peace and reason, it was only a matter of time before we got to the bad apple. I knew this was going to happen, and for me, who says that we want to end it quick? Well,
I saw a report today out of India that have some sources that President Trump has a direct contact with the head of the IRGC now. The president of Iraq has a direct line to the head of the IRGC. And of course, the president of Iraq just met with President Trump recently, right? A couple weeks ago. So that's progress. That there's actual, I don't know if you want to, it's unofficial channels, I guess back channels, is like they would say, but there's a line of communication between the president and the head of the IRGC now. So that tells me that that tells me that they're worried.
Yeah, well, being able, and you've got to, that's the thing with the Abraham Accords. They did the same old thing forever and nothing worked. Trump came in and they did something different. They actually asked them what they wanted. Because the whole idea of what was going on in the Middle East was to never fix anything. They didn't want to fix anything. They wanted a continuous chaos.
Well, see, I believe that the war with Iran, I know the left want to say, Netanyahu and Israel tricked Trump into doing this. I don't think so. I think President Trump put together that board of peace for Gaza, and he got together with all of these Arab leaders and said, how can we have peace in the Middle East? They said, you got to take out Iran. I think this war in Iran is at the request of the Arab leaders, not Israel. I mean, Israel likes it, but I think it came from the Arab leaders.
Absolutely. It's Trump Trump is a certain type of guy. In the middle, you look at our country, we've got MAGA, we've got rhinos, and we've got Democrats. Now when you look at the Middle East, you look at all those countries. None of those countries have the same types of people in their countries, and Trump has basically met with MAGA people that want to live and enjoy life, not die for Muhammad or whatever.
Well, listen, I'm short on time. I got to run, but appreciate the call. If you're on hold, stand by. I want to talk about Coastal Weight Loss Secret, the home of the metabolic reset. And I've been telling you guys that losing the weight was easy with Coastal Weight Loss Secret. It just came right off. But I've kept the weight off for over a year. And you guys can see, you look at my old YouTube videos from 2 years ago and look at me now. I got a flat stomach. I got my jaw. I got a square jaw. You can see my chin and neck. It's amazing how much weight I've lost. And keeping it off has been without effort. And I really didn't know why, but I knew it was working. So, I'm happy with that. And then Dr. Zuckerman over at Coastal Weight Loss Secret, he said, I've reset your metabolism. Coastal Weight Loss Secret has helped thousands of patients just like me and many of you in this audience over many, many years. And Dr. Zuckerman has learned a lot. That lasting weight loss isn't about just another diet or some quick fix. It's about improving and resetting your metabolism. And Coastal Weight Loss Secret has actually created their doctor-approved and doctor-developed metabolic reset. And this isn't some magic wand or trick. It's an actual program that they stand behind because they've spent years refining this process, working with thousands of patients. And Coastal Weight Loss Secret has built their program around the science of metabolic health, not trends, not shortcuts, not fads. The program has been built around habits and strategies that consistently produce results. Maybe you don't need another diet. Maybe you just need your metabolic reset over at Coastal Weight Loss Secret. And I'm telling you, it works. I am living, breathing proof. Give them a call and schedule your no-charge consultation. 561-359-3600. 561-359-3418. 561-359-3418. That's 561-359-3418. And online, coastalweightlossecret.com. Remember, virtual appointments are available, so if you can't make it in or you're somewhere else in the state or somewhere else in the country, they can help you too, all right, with a virtual appointment. coastalweightlossecret.com. All right, well, that's all the time we have for today. Another one in the can. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. That is something, isn't it? Oh, yeah, that's right. And we are here weekday mornings from 6 until 9 a.m. on whichever radio station you're listening to. And if you're new from one of our new radio stations, welcome, and tell all your friends about us, okay? It's the Steve Kane Show. My name's Brian Craig. I will see you first thing tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. God bless America, and God bless Donald Trump. All right, we're clear. Hey, guys, if you're new to the program, welcome. Make sure that you subscribe, okay? And please like the video. If you've not already done, please like the video. When you like the video, you get the video recommended to people that have not yet found the channel. Let me read through some of the... Oh, thanks, Brian. Great show. Well, thank you very, very much. MSNBC will lie at the drop of a hat. No doubt. Brian Stewart says, love this show. Well, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Lone Wolf says, all MAGA does is win, baby. Yeah, that's true. Natalie Harp for first and secondly. Natalie Harp, isn't she that big girl on Outnumbered on Fox? She's a CIA person. Did you know that? Natalie Harp is CIA. That's right. Oh, Chuck, thank you so much. Chuck in the chat says, guys, please take 5 seconds to like the show. Yes. Liking the video helps so much, guys. It really, truly gets the program recommended to people that have not yet found me. And I do greatly appreciate that. But this map here, I know a lot of people will be showing this map. And it has an American city over the top 20 Iranian cities. So you can get an idea. Like, look at this. I can't even pronounce these cities. But it's the size of Milwaukee, population-wise, right? And you see all of this. So they got a lot of people there. Think about it. This map is being circulated to be like, they're too big to defeat. Well, I'm here to tell you that they are going through a major, major inflationary period. And you have cities with 8.6 million population, 3 million, 500,000, 1.9 million, 1.1 million, 1.5, 500,000, 0.4 million, 0.7 million in this city. And there's mass inflation on top of the embargo where supplies are short. Look at the breakdown we had when we ran out of toilet paper during the lockdowns. Remember the panic people had over toilet paper? Have any of you been in a community where it says Brian loads his callers? No, but during the radio show, I am up against time pressures. I've got a break every few minutes. I've got commercials. I've got call-ins. Whenever I'm on the air taking calls on the pre-show or the post-show, like now, if you want to call in now, I don't have the time pressures. Or the afternoons, callers talk a lot longer because I'm not up against the time pressures. But if you've ever been, like here, we have hurricanes. The stores get empty. But we know when the storm's over, the trucks are going to come. In Iran, they're short on basic supplies. They're having mass inflation going on over there. How long can a country that has so many major cities continue with mass inflation and with the first real embargo? There's been embargoes over Iran over the years, but they've never been real like this one. How long can they continue like that? And what President Trump's strategy is, which is a brilliant strategy, and it's a strategy unlike the United States has ever waged really in war, it's an economic collapse. And he figures at some point these major cities around Iran that there's going to be major financial collapses. And when that happens, that's when the regime will stop having such a grip over people, right? And I think that's a much better strategy than a ground invasion and combat, don't you? Absolutely. You know, what President Trump is doing in Iran is rewriting the whole war plan book of the United States. You know, a bombing campaign followed by an invasion, that's the old school way. And really at this point, Iran is really a paper tiger. They're a nuisance is what they are. They're a nuisance in the Gulf. They don't have the military that they had. Believe me, if they did, they'd be attacking us all the time. And they can't do it. In fact, how long has it been since they've had a successful attack that's taken the life of an American? It's been a long time, hasn't it? If they could, they would. You know, and that's one of the things about this story with the Lincoln. You know, if you look at the stories about it, what it's morphed in, the story is complete fiction. And what the media are saying is that the Iranians blew up a supply depot in one of these bases they hit, and that's why supplies are low. An aircraft carrier, you could fly supplies to it. It's the easiest ship to replenish with supplies. They would have, if they were out of food, they would have a massive airlift to the Lincoln day and night. But they're not doing that because there's not a shortage. Now, with that being said, I agree that Pete Hegseth should challenge Senator Kelly to go out there and inspect the ship and show everybody. I don't think these sailors they're talking about exist. I don't think these family members they're referencing exist either. I don't. Like that grandmother, I think he made the whole thing up. What do you guys think? Again, now, if you're new, make sure you subscribe, guys. This is where MAGA comes to talk. I am live every morning of the week and most afternoons, and anytime I'm in the studio, I am taking live calls like I've been doing all morning, all right? My name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA